when your leading rusher is Deebo Samuel for seven carries for 26 yards. And then Deebo Samuel is also your leading receiver, 4 receptions for 72 yards and a touchdown. Like, you're not going to win that way. And we all know the formula for success for the Niners in 2021 was for them to be over 40% from third downs. They were 3 of 9 on third downs. You don't earn the right to run the ball when you're 3 of 9 on third down. You don't have time. You lose the time of possession by over almost 10 minutes. So that's another part of it. It was a surprise that the Niners were even up 10-7 at halftime, right? That game was clearly dominated by the Rams. They were more physical at the point of attack. They were more physical on both lines. And the Niners were lucky to be in that position to be at 10-7.
Yeah. It was a huge time possession too on the Rams side too.
Right. They would have, and then every third down you can imagine the Rams were getting. The Rams were 11 of 18 on third down. You can't get off the field, so there's your time of possession. Now, the offense has been – now this is where people don't want to hear it, but Jimmy Garoppolo was absolutely terrible in the playoffs. Absolutely terrible. From Dallas to Green Bay.
You hear that, Womack?
Yeah.
The Niners had 4 offensive touchdowns in 29 offensive series in the playoffs. 4 offensive touchdowns in 29 offensive series.
Yeah.
Just do the math in your head, right? Then you add in one of those offensive series was off a turnover from K'Wan Williams in Dallas, and Deebo takes the first play after the turnover for a touchdown. Like, that's one of them. So really, you were 3 of 28 if you want to just take away that one play score from Deebo Samuel. It was a very stagnant offense, and the recipe to defeat the Niners was to make Jimmy Garoppolo throw the ball. Now,
exactly.
I'm not trying to shit on Jimmy Garoppolo as he's out the door, because he did make some plays, right? He made a few plays in the Dallas game to kind of seal it. He made the plays to seal the game against Green Bay to kind of get them into field goal position. But this is the problem with Jimmy Garoppolo over his tenure. This offense should not look so hard to operate with the talent that's on this team, right? You should be able to move the ball at will when you have a guy like Deebo, you have a guy like George, you have a guy like Ayuk, right? It should not be so stagnant, and it shouldn't be so hard for it just to move up and down the field, and you lose, you're losing time of possession because you can't convert on 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8 because you got behind the chains because you had a drop pass here or you had a near interception there. It's for the cost of what he is, to get 20 touchdowns out of him as a passer and 12 interceptions, that's not worth it to me. Like, it's just part of me is happy the season's over. Like, I'm glad this whole Garoppolo era is over. Thank you for the wins. I appreciate some of the good times. But at the end of the day, I am a process person. Like, the results are great. Yeah. Cool, you got wins. But how did you get there? And going into this season, I had this team going 10, 11 wins and being a first-round bounce because I didn't believe in the quarterback. Because the process to get to those 10 or 11 wins was exactly the formula Kyle Shanahan drew up week to week. 35 runs, 20 passes, control time possession, control third downs. And if one of those 4 things was out of whack, you weren't winning games.
Yeah.
And Kyle Shanahan should be applauded for squeezing all the juice out of that orange that is Jimmy Garoppolo to get all those wins out of him. Now, granted, in this time, Jimmy had plenty of, he had a couple really good moments, a couple Arizona games, the New Orleans games. But really, when we think about it, we only point to like 4.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how it is. And then this Rams game, I couldn't put too much on the defense, right? The defense carried this team all year, right? When you needed one of your other units to step up, the offense didn't do it. Special teams did it versus Green Bay. Defense held it down in Dallas. Defense held it down most of the season. But I need a Kyle Shanahan-led offense with a 4-year quarterback who's been in the system for 4 years to be better, right? Kyle was fine. If you go back and watch the film, this guy's wide open everywhere. Jimmy just didn't pull the trigger, and that's why we lost the game.
Yeah. You hear that, Womack?
I agree with pretty much everything you've said.
Long answer, but it's just
no.
It deserves a proper context, right? Because Twitter can only do 280 characters, right? And the David Lombardis of the world will give you an EPA stat that really means nothing. Cool, you got a really high EPA score off a screen pass.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense because the rest of the play is carried by an 80-yard reception from the wide receiver or the running back. Like, that's just how EPA works, and it doesn't show the proper reflection of the quarterback. So, I'm not one of those people like, oh yeah, we can't replace the guy. No, they'll be fine. They will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. mean, the only thing you can say about Jimmy G is once Jimmy G came to the Niners, is that you can tell that the Niners are putting the pieces together for a winning team. They got Jimmy, out of that trade with New England, and I mean, we went to the Super Bowl. We lost last Sunday, but it just shows you that they got the right defense. That run solid for the Niners. Get a quarterback that's a little bit better than Jimmy G. You could be back in the Super Bowl next season with Trey Lance.
Why do you think I said I wanted Trey Lance all season long? Because he just had to be as good or slightly better than Jimmy, and the throws Jimmy was making wide open down the middle, and he couldn't complete half of those. Slant route is pretty much his bread and butter, it seems like. Mm-hmm. So when teams take away that, they load up 8 in the box. They take that away. Like Javi said, you make Jimmy beat you with his arm, which is what the Chiefs did in the Super Bowl and what the Rams did a couple weeks back. Yep. He struggles, and you take away the great defense, you take away the run game, and it's all on Jimmy's shoulders, and he collapsed. And you see it with the stats. He was, minus 8 yards on the last 2 drives, an interception. I don't know the specifics, but it was something ugly like that, 1 of 6 or something.
His quarterback rating in the fourth quarter was 4.2. His rating was 4.2, right? And Jimmy historically has the worst playoff fourth quarter rating in the NFL history. I think it's like 18.3 or something like that. It's super low. You can't win games like that.
Yeah.
Right. And to shoot Jimmy some bail, I'll push back a little bit on the Lance stuff, because there are things situationally that I think Lance isn't ready for, right? Like,
agreed.
End of half stuff, end of game stuff, goal line situations. Like those things are gonna come with the reps, and I agree with you that he should have played. So could they have gotten to an NFC Championship game? I don't know. Right?
It's not a guarantee. This is definitely not a guarantee. Yeah. I just feel like the throws Jimmy was making, a Trey Lance with 10 games under his belt could make. And some of that situational football by week 8, week 10, he'd be ready. And I think they're more potent at the goal line with the Trey Lance than they are Jimmy G. Now what I seen from Shanahan with that first game, the play calling was strange with Trey in there. I think he needs to get a little bit more comfortable with what he's able to do. I think he thought he might be a little faster than he was, because Trey's fast, but he's not like a Lamar Jackson. The plays he had him running was similar to like Lamar Jackson type of stuff, in my opinion. And I don't think he's that fast. But what I like about Trey is I like already what I've seen in 2 games, small sample size. When the play breaks down, he's looking to make a play downfield or take off and run. Now, I think that could have been a huge factor in this Rams game, because Jimmy G, when the play breaks down, he doesn't have the best pocket presence. He doesn't really step up into the pocket. He kind of just gets that twirl around and gets scared a little bit. Now, Trey's a rookie, so I don't know how. That's why I can't say I guarantee we'd make the playoff, the NFC Championship game. But I think we'd have a pretty damn good shot, because you have that defense to lean on. A lot of people talk about, well, you had Trevor Lawrence performances, you had Justin Fields performances terribly during the season. Yeah, but they didn't have this roster around them. They didn't have the good receivers, the tight end, the running back, the supposedly good coach. I mean, he's a good coach. I'll give him that. He's a good coach. Situationally, he's not the best, but they have pieces around. We have the defense that Trey could lean on, where none of these other guys have that. So that was my argument against a lot of people as well. Like, well, look at how bad this guy did. You can't really compare them. It's kind of apples to oranges. Yes, they're rookies, but they're in totally different setups. Like, you look at a Mac Jones, he had all the pieces around him. He was already deemed as the most NFL ready. Now, I said all season, I'm not huge on Mac Jones. I think he's way closer to his ceiling than Trey Lance is. He's already more of the proven product, but I could see him not progressing much in his career. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think Trey has the better ceiling, of course, and I think Trey will end up being a better quarterback. Look at how great Jimmy G looked in that Belichick offense. Look at how great Matt Castle won 11 games in that Bill Belichick offense. So I don't think a lot of the people that were touting Mac Jones were right all the way. They weren't asking him to do much. Not too many deep balls. It was similar to a Jimmy G game plan, but I will say he's more efficient than Jimmy G already as a rookie. Just my take on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Lance is in the best situation, right? Any of these rookie quarterbacks would have been in the best situation going to San Francisco, right? I think you could have gotten a Trevor Lawrence, and he would have probably started right away, right? And Mac would probably start it right away, and we probably might have been in the same situation we're in now, but you're close to that ceiling. Justin Fields probably, yeah, Justin Fields would have been fine here too, but he just has that elongated delivery, slower processor, so that kind of doesn't help him out. Lance is going to take time to develop. The throws are there, and it's more about the processing, right? Does he see it fast enough? And that's part of it. And when it comes to, I think, what's his face, who does the QB school, he was like, he mentioned it on the Kittle interception against Houston. He said arm arrogance. Lance has some arm arrogance to him because he knows he has the ability to throw. Now, when it comes to Lance's ability to run, he doesn't. This is where the transition from D2 to the NFL is really tough because the speed of the game is so much faster. So he can run away from guys like me and you at D2 schools, but he's not going to run away from guys in the NFL. Justin Reed, we all know Eric Reed's brother's fast, and we saw what that looks like. So he's not comfortable with that kind of stuff yet, right? You're not asking him to do that. And I didn't view Lance as a rushing quarterback. I viewed him as a pocket quarterback who can move. Right, really in the pocket to allow some expansive stuff to happen. Right, anything second reaction, third reaction plays where he doesn't like what he sees and he's able to move around and boom, make a play. It's like that goal line situation. We're not goal line situation. They were at the 2 versus Houston. You had 2 slants up top, one to Kittle, one to Jennings, and he didn't like what he saw. He extends a play in the pocket, rolls out, and he fires one to Ayuk. And those are the type of things that you want from him. Is he able to take off? Yeah, the Arizona game. I think the Arizona game showed you exactly what Kyle Shanahan thought of Trey Lance, the passer. He thought he wasn't ready, and that was clear because he called the game the way he called it.
I got some questions on that though. Like, what do you think about not taking some of those field goals? I mean, you got a rookie QB on the road. Get the guy some points. I understand the aggressive. His fourth down calls have been strange all year. I'll be honest with you, in my opinion. He's either too aggressive at the wrong time or, I mean, I guess if they're successful, of course, it's going to look great and we won't be having this conversation. But to me, I don't know. If you got a rookie QB on the road in his first start, you take some field goals early on.
Yeah.
I would have taken some of those field goals too, yes. But, at the end of the day, it was only a 10-17 game, right? But the fourth down aggressiveness shows you kind of what he thought of him as a runner. Like he's like, okay, we can make these plays, we can get these things. I think there was a couple of things that had a few hiccups in it, but I think having him run as much as he did is just telling you how much of a passer that Kyle didn't think he was yet. Like he just doesn't see it, and this is where I give the pushback of Lance wasn't ready. Right?
It's like there's no trust. Like that's what they seem like.
Yeah, whether he had the snaps or not in the beginning of the year or in training camp, he probably still wouldn't have been ready because the speed of the game is what it is. So when he gets into a game against Arizona, at the time was undefeated, had one of the better defenses. So you're asking this guy to, hey, Rook, it's your first start in a year and a half. We're going up against J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones. Oh, by the way, Budda Baker's over there. Byron Murphy's over there. We're going to ask you to read this defense, make 1 or 2 reads and go. And it just wasn't there for him. You saw him hesitate. He did make some really good throws in that game. But that's the stuff that's going to come with more reps. So that's where I give a little bit of pushback to where I think Kyle made the right decision with sticking with Jimmy throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
But at the end, it cost him an NFC title. Yeah. It cost him an NFC title because Jimmy wasn't going to get you over the hump if your special teams can't get it done, if your defense can't get it done.
Exactly.
And the problem is Kyle had it wide open in that NFC title game. There's guys open everywhere. Like I don't know how many assignments the Rams had in that game, and Jimmy just missed. Whether he didn't throw the ball or he threw the ball and he overshot somebody. Just to pass to Kittle to start the game it was a clear miss. He did it in Green Bay. He did it Green Bay won, Kittle dropped, but
reversal. He
missed Kittle in the beginning of that Rams game. Those are big plays, right? And that's the issue with Jimmy, and that's ultimately why he's no longer on this roster. I know technically he's on the roster, but that's is why you went and got the upgrade that you wanted to go get. This is why they spent the last 3 years looking for a replacement. Like this stuff doesn't pop up out of nowhere. They, after the Super Bowl, you would think after the Super Bowl, there's no QB rumors or QB chatter. Nope. Here's Tom. Here's Dak. Here's Aaron. And then they decided to roll it back with him in 2020. Obviously gets hurt. And all we heard up until the draft was every quarterback with 2 arms and 2 feet and able to throw a football was connected to the Niners, and they finally landed on Trey Lance. So I thank Jimmy Garoppolo for his time here. Cool. Great for the wins. Appreciate all that. But the process of him was so frustrating to watch when you know there's so much more in this offense that is being left on the table. Every game, every week. It's so frustrating.
And the turnovers. We're all saying like Lance, would be a little careless with the ball possibly to make some dangerous throws, but Jimmy was making those same interceptions. So, I mean, we could go on this all day. Like you said, we'll never have a definitive answer.
It never ends cycle with Jim.
I just wish I wish we would have got a chance to see it. I wish Kyle would have took a little bit of a chance. And I get that some of the vets were pulling for Jimmy. They're supposed to.
Oh yeah, of course.
They're gonna pull for Jimmy. They were giving some pushback on Trey from what I heard. Some rumors. I don't know. We'll see. But we got a fresh start next year. We get Lance in there with the full training camp. Hopefully, unless you buy some of these Brady rumors, which we can get to in a minute. I don't know.
Bring me Tom.
So you would be for that?
I would be for whatever gets us a Super Bowl.
I agree.
Right at this point in my fandom, at this point in my fandom, and this, it's all about. I have I don't really have an attachment to players anymore. The only players I'm attached to are no longer on this team. Frank Gore, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, those guys. The guys that are on this roster, they are viewed as assets and transactions. Unfortunately, that's the business of football.
Exactly. Yep. That's all the business.
That's the way you gotta look at it.
If it means Trey has to sit one more year and we can get into a Super Bowl with Tom Brady and win one, okay,
Why
cool.
not? Yeah.
Right. That's also what we're here for, right? We won a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
I get it. There's no guarantee that Trey even gets us 10 wins.
Yeah,
this is where I get the pushback of some folks like, yeah, Trey's gonna be the guy. We're gonna win multiple Super Bowls. I will remind you, Aaron Rodgers has 1 Super Bowl. Drew Brees has 1 Super Bowl. Peyton Manning has 2 Super Bowls. The only guy that has some outrageous number of Super Bowls is Joe and Tom.
Yeah,
that's it.
I would say the same thing. You know what I'm saying? When Steve took over Joe Montana, I remember being as a kid. Oh, for sure, we win in the next 5, 6 Super Bowls. It never happened. So yeah. What's up, Cello?
Hold on, what's up?
What's up with it?
Hey man, just chilling. What we're talking about right now is would you take Tom Brady on this team right now and let Trey Lance sit a year?
Talking about the Zola thing that's been being
it's just the rumors. There's been a bunch of rumors going around. Just rumors at this point. But I will say I kind of feel there's where there's smoke, there's fire, because you had Tom Brady wanting to come here a couple of years ago. The Bucs, I would say we have a better shot at a Super Bowl right now, the current roster, than Tampa Bay. So I think he understands that as well. AB's gone. There's a bunch of drama left from him. Gronk's a year older. So I don't know. Go ahead. Give us your take on that.
I completely agree. I was thinking the same thing when I read the report earlier. I mean, think about it. It's his childhood team, no less, on top of all the facts that you just stated. You know what I mean? What's that?
What'd you say, Leo?
I got booted. I came back. Yeah.
Okay.
My shit was like stuck, frozen. So.
Yeah. I mean, what you said already was one thing. I mean, he's not going to a bottom feeder. He's going right to a situation where he can win immediately. You know what I mean? And it's basically what we all thought was the twilight of his career now is over. Of course he would think about that. I mean, there's no way you couldn't think hard about that. You know what I mean? It's like I said already, it's your childhood team. You know what I mean? And like you said previously, the first thing he thought, you know what I'm saying, let me go back home. You know what I mean? I want to help this franchise win a team. It has a loaded defense. I got young stars that I can work with. You know what I mean? And I mean, you know what? It's a better time, and it's an opportunity to go ahead and try to see what would have happened in 2020 had we got a hold of him. Because I personally think he came to us. That's his career. All the injuries we suffered that year. Everybody's like, well, look, the narrative around, the country of people that watch football, though, you guys passed up on a sure thing. You would have got a ring. And then you've seen the debacle that happened in 2020. So I think it's an opportunity to go ahead and get a mulligan. You know what I mean? And go ahead and snatch the man up and see what we can do with it. Do I think that would hamper Trey Lance's development? It would slow it a little bit, but you know what? He missed a year, and how could he not benefit from tutelage of one of the best in their generation? I mean, and I still, we go back and forth with other people that talk about he's the GOAT. I say he's the greatest of his generation because you can't really compare, you know what I mean, these two guys in there, and of course the narrative is Joe's the best, but you can't really compare it. You can, because it's different things. Maybe Joe would have won fucking 30 rings. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
different set of rules. Joe didn't have a rule named after him. I will say that.
Like we said in a previous show, that he never took a hit clean like that from Jim Burke. I mean, who knows what Joe did? If Joe never take that hit, who knows what Joe would have done? I definitely would say that he would have been with us
more Super Bowls.
He would have been with us a few more years, and Steve would have had to wait, or he would have got traded. Either way, I'm just saying we would have been the only one. I'm pretty damn sure he doesn't take a hit like that. We're the only team in the history of the NFL with a three-peat. You know what I'm saying? So that's my 2 cents on that. But to go ahead and be fortunate enough with the team that you have now, and all you really have to do, let's be honest, you draft another corner, with some ball hawking, or a safety. I'm good with a safety too. But we need a ball hawker. We don't need a heavy hitter. You know what I mean? And that's what I think has been our issue these last couple of years. Kowalski's a heavy hitter, and he's got, great range when it comes to coverage. You know what I mean? Jimmy's a heavy hitter. He's a thumper. Let's be honest.
I'm not a Jimmy Ward. We're not Jimmy. Me and Womack ain't Jimmy Ward guys.
Well, you can say what you will, but he panned out, eventually. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't know about that busted play against the Packers. He got bailed out.
You can't take away his accomplishments, man.
What has he accomplished?
Doesn't have the picks. He doesn't have the picks. Bro, he's helped us out of hell. Like, you can't.
He's a hitter. I'll give him that. He's a hitter. I like that.
He's a thumper, bro. You know what I mean?
But the coverage skills are lacking at times.
No, they're not.
Yes, he has. He's helped us out of hell of shit, bro. You know what I mean? Let's come on.
So Jimmy Ward might not get the interceptions. You can only get interceptions if you're thrown at. There's a reason he doesn't get thrown at. His coverage is elite. He is a top 5 coverage safety.
Oh no, man.
Argue with Paul, my boy. That is Jimmy Ward is elite coverage safety.
I will. Yeah. Please continue.
Comment with Sel though. He said, "Learn under the tutelage of Tom Brady." Someone had said something in my comments earlier, like, "Well, Jimmy Garoppolo was under him." Like, that's a different circumstance, right?
Yeah.
Tom probably had another 10 years in him, right? Jimmy's an 8-year 8. So yeah, Tom still has 8 years. That's 8 years. Tom is at the end of it. He's like, "Look, I can get one here and teach this kid something." He wasn't trying to teach me when he was in New England. No. That's a different situation. So I'm all for it. If Tom wants to come and it means Trey's got to sit, and you keep Trey still, because ultimately the only way you get Tom is to keep Trey, right? I don't want to hear nothing about, we're going to trade Trey. No. We're going to keep getting Tom to keep Trey. And for some reason, if Tom falls off a cliff with his play, you still have Trey, right? It's still you still have your insurance.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing.
And they're talking about a straight up trade for Brady for Jimmy. Well, what does Brady make? Does anybody know what he makes per year?
He would be, so if they were to trade for him, the Niners would incur $10 million of his salary.
Okay, all right.
And the Niners would have the dead cap of 1.4 on Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, I will say this: I don't think a trade is realistic here. I think this is all dependent on the designation that Tampa Bay gives him, right? Do they give him the reserve retired designation and they have the rights to him, right? And then that trade kind of becomes different because no one knows if he's going to come out of retirement, right? You don't know what you don't have, right?
Yeah,
so the Niners are like, well, we'll give you a 6 for this title, right? And they would have the rights to him. But they can also release him.
Yeah, I think they would do him a solid. I think they would do him a solid.
Or they can do a post-June 1 trade and have really no dead cap hit in Tampa on the Tom Brady stuff. So I went and did some research on it. It's wild conversation. I don't think it happens. I really don't think it happens. But if it's something that's in the universe and it's like, hey, Tom wants to go home, be with his parents, San Mateo, you have to at least entertain the conversation.
Yeah,
you should.
Lynch has to answer that phone call.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like if Trey's struggling, let's say week 5, and you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't be surprised to make a phone call like, yo, Brady, You in the bag?
I think it's
You wanna
kind of
come
too
down
late
here?
at that point. I think it would have to
I
be
wouldn't be
before the
surprised. I
season.
wouldn't.
Yeah, that would have to be
What
something
is
he has to do before the season. Like they have,
Okay.
because Tampa
I
has
think-
to do certain things, and there's the way the contract's written. Like if he's still under the Tampa Bay's roster or their retired reserve list stuff, like it has to be a certain date. There's cutoffs for all this stuff. But yeah, to get from, I would understand if the Niners decided to go Tom Brady. Like at the end of the day, like as a franchise, like there's one thing for anyone who's paid attention to the Niners the last 5 years. That's one thing about this front office and Kyle. They don't give a shit about players. They really don't. Like when I say
That's
that,
the way you have to be.
when I say that, I say that as assets and transactions. Like they love the person, the people, like as they are. But as players, this team is always going to try to upgrade at every spot possible.
Oh,
right?
they've done. Yeah, they've definitely tried. Very
Right,
Vince
aggressive.
McMahon ain't nobody bigger than their franchise.
Yeah, you send off Buckner, right? They signed Kilgore and then traded him a week later.
Yeah.
Right? Remember that?
Yeah.
And then you had the rumors about George Kittle possibly being traded before he signs an extension. Anyone wants to read that report from Mike Silver? What they call it? The massacre on Valentine's Day, because that was the offer was so low that it was insulting to George Kittle. Right? They don't care. Right? And then you actively pursue quarterback after quarterback after quarterback in plain sight for your own franchise quarterback to see. These are things that you understand. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not, you can't call me or hater or anyone else in this room a hater because we actually can see what's happening right in front of us. Like the Niners put it all out there. It's not that leaks. They put out what they want to put out. And what they put out is a lot of shit like, damn, we're gonna try to improve this team no matter what it is. I mean, I'm down for that. Do it.
Yeah.
Because that's 27 years title. Yeah.
Because especially after years of just being bullshit, you know what I mean? So I think they learned in that, you know what I mean? Because all the bullshit that they were pulling behind the scenes and, and then like you saw, the leaks and the toxicity of how it was before, you've seen how they did. They changed up a lot of things and they said, you know what? Fans are pissed at us. Let's get them back on our side and just be like, look, all we're trying to do is win. I know you guys fan favorites and all that good shit, but you'll be a fan favorite of this person if we want a damn ring.
Exactly.
So, it's wonderful that they try that, but I did touch on how they did Jimmy like that before. And so that, it's kind of unsettling if you're that guy and they tell you you're that guy, but then, they're flirting with everybody else. It also was kind of like, we're flirting with Aaron Rodgers, bro.
It's Aaron Rodgers.
He's better than you. You know what I mean? We're flirting with Tom Brady, bro. He's the one that taught you, but you didn't learn it all. You know what I'm saying? We were flirting with guys we're flirting Deshaun Watson. You know what I'm saying?
The writing's been on the wall with Jimmy though. That's a lot of our fans are homers. I'm gonna tell you straight up, a lot of our fans are homers. I argue with them all day on Facebook, on Instagram. I'll probably get our account banned soon because I don't keep it all the way. I keep it all the way 100. I'm not gonna be censored on there. I talk a lot of shit on there.
We need to get you on board with the Jimmy Ward train though. Like that man he's so.
I like his hitting. I like his enforcer. But the coverage, man. Where was that coverage against the Packers? What was that?
Hey, Hav, you got to understand. He never liked him from day one. He's a Balky guy. He never liked him from day one, bro.
I will say this. Trent Baalke, for all his faults, he did hit on Buckner, Armstead, Tart, and Ward. Those are 4 Pro Bowl level.
Solid players.
Buckner got an All Pro. Jimmy Ward should be an All Pro, and all those are 4 solid picks.
And they've been with the squad. They with the team at least 8-9 years already. So that just shows
it's year 8 for Kowalski, and it'll be year 8 for Kowalski. It's year 9 for Jimmy Ward. It's it's year 8 for Armstead, or year 7 for Armstead. It'll be year 6 for Buckner. Like these are talents that they drafted. So I give him credit for that. So
let me get a quick question in for everybody. We'll go around. Just what's your grade for the year, or like how do you feel about the end of the season? Are you happy? Are you one of the people that's like we didn't make it but I'm okay with it? Or are you like me who's like I'm spoiled? I remember the good old days when we would win it all, and to me if you don't win the Super Bowl,
it's a bust.
It's a bust. Yeah. Just Javi, I think you kind of gave your take a little bit earlier.
To me, I looked at the roster, the entirety of the roster, going into the draft and coming out of the draft. I thought we still needed help at corner. Guess what? That shit showed up week 1. I thought we needed additional running backs. Guess what? That shit showed up week 1. Right guard and center were a concern for me. Center was kind of stabilized with Mack, but Brunskill was shaky most of the year. And you can't predict an injury with right tackle McGlinchey. McGlinchey was having a really good season before he got hurt, and then here comes Tom Compton. Ultimately, I thought the team would win 10, 11 games. I thought they'd be a wild card team. I thought they'd be a first-round bounce. I got that on my podcast. I got that on my Twitter feed. To me, this season ends up as a B+ because it worked out in a way to where you traded everything you wanted. You traded everything away for Trey Lance, right? That pick now turns to pick 29. That's a win. You told me you got pick 29 for Trey Lance. That's a win. You got to an NFC title game. That's a huge win because now for Kyle Shanahan, he's gained more equity with the fan base. Like, yo, I just got 2 winning seasons, and both those winning seasons, I've made it at least to an NFC title game. So get me a quarterback that I know can improve us. We might be back in the Super Bowl. Overall, guys like Emmanuel Mosley had a great year. Jimmy Ward had a really good year. Guys like Azeez Al-Shahir started to explode. Arden Key exploded.
Nowhere.
You got key guys like Jordan Willis who popped up. And then, of course, the emergence of Elijah Mitchell, right? That's a big plus. Do I think he's a running back 1? No, I don't.
Leo said he should have been cut during preseason.
I didn't watch enough tapes.
I still don't think Elijah Mitchell's like a running back 1. I still think the Niners are going to run with the committee.
Get Mostert. Those two would be nasty.
Kid's a great cat back.
Yeah, so that's kind of where he's at.
But overall, Trey Sermon.
Yeah, you got to see what happens with Trey Sermon. And the way the season worked out, I think it's a net positive for the whole season as a whole. There's a lot of positive here. You got everything you got out of Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't think you upped his trade stock. I think it's all the same. But either way, you got to an NFC title game. You got improvements on your roster, and you've gotten 9 picks in this upcoming draft right now. So now, and a rookie contract. So now you can reestablish yourself and get yourself back into, at the very least, 10 wins. So I think it's a B+.
Yeah.
B+.
Okay. So, go ahead. Give us yours.
It's kind of difficult to disagree with the B+ assessment. I really figured we weren't going to get past divisional. You know what I mean? Especially with the way the season started. I was dead set at divisional, but then we get the Pack, and I'm like, no, we can't lose this fucking game. And then of course we get fucking Rams, and then I'm like, we can't lose this game, but we lose this fucking game anyway. Either way, I would just, because of the point we were at in the season, because coach was being ostracized, because they were talking about get rid of fucking Lynch, because all of these things, and because people thought we were dead fish in the water, and the way we came back and the way we won those games, I'm going to give it just a slightly higher grade because we were playing with house money after 3 and 5. Let's be honest here. You know what I mean? We lost key guys. Verrett was gone for the season. Greenlaw was down. You know what I mean? And it looked like we would have, to me, what would have been an 8-8 season. That's what I was looking at. Like we're gonna sub 500 or maybe 1 win above, and it's a winning season. Hooray! But what could have been? So I'm gonna say A-. I think Hav touched on a lot. A lot of guys did step up, mostly in the defense, but hey, how about BA coming in and switching everything up, you know what I'm saying? And and then finishing with a great numbers on the year for a deuce. You know what I mean? It's not like he's wide receiver number 1, but I mean, he finished with 800 something yards, man. You know what I mean? He did his damn thing when everybody was like, what the hell's good? Nip, you wrote him off for a while. You know what I'm saying? Let's be honest,
because why though? Who did I want? T. Higgins. I wanted T. Higgins in the draft.
But yeah, no, I got.
But I wanted T. Higgins, so that's why I wrote him off a little bit.
And T was producing, you know what I'm saying? But then let's be honest
he still
again.
Is.
He's catching balls from Burrow though. You know what I'm saying? So there's a big difference there. You know what I mean? So let's be straight. I would say A-. These guys, they pulled together through a lot of shit, through a lot of weird ass Jimmy fuck ups, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. I'm not gonna completely shit on Jimmy, man. You know what I'm saying? He's got my respect. He's always had my respect, to be completely honest with you.
He could have your respect, but that don't win clutch games.
But that's the difference, though. It did win games. You know what I'm saying? Because
that was the rushing game and the defense.
But you gotta understand. I touched on this before too, Nip. He makes those guys believe. And it's that intangible at times that'll take a team that's a 7-win team to a team that can win 10, 11 games. You know what I mean? And they always just said it. I mean, you didn't see a locker room divide when Trey came in. You know what I mean? They gave him his propers too, but you didn't see none of these guys jumping up and down and screaming and hooting and hollering and cheerleading like they did for Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? We won many games in spite of his play. In spite of his play. You know what I mean? But still, a lot of that, you think it would have been possible without them going, we're going to run through a damn brick wall for you, Jimmy. We don't give a damn. We ride or die with you.
But I think they would do that for any quarterback back there, though. That's our quarterback.
With that kind of shaky play, yeah, maybe. But they went hard to the bone for that guy, dude. You know what I'm saying? And when you got people like that,
I feel they would give the same effort for Trey though after a few weeks.
I mean, you got to be that guy though. You know, he ain't that guy yet. You feel me? So I mean, I hear where you're coming from. We agreed that we both thought Trey should have been in. You know what I'm saying? And I agree with you still. But it takes time to develop that. You know what I'm saying? And I think, you know what? I think he learned that from Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? You know, take your job and do it as a professional and don't get rattled by shit. You know what I mean? But I also think he can learn poise and a couple other things if Tom Brady were to step into the picture. You know what I'm saying? How to be poised under pressure, which that fucking guy is. You know what I mean? It would be very nice for him to come. And then we already got a Gronk for him already in Kittle. You know what I'm saying?
We could actually get Gronk though if Brady came. I'm sure we'd make that happen.
And imagine how that'd probably be the best offense we've ever seen. Those
Gronk and Kittle.
Running post routes out of that motherfucker with Debo crossing the middle like that. What's the plan of action there? And then you got what's the name of BA running a hook route. What can you do? You can't do
Jennings.
shit.
You got Jennings as well.
You got Jennings out there. You know what I mean? You got Elijah running into the flat. Who do you cover? You know what I mean? And then you got the guy that can make every single throw.
Exactly. Especially Tom, your vertical pass game comes back with Tom.
Everything.
Oh yeah.
So I think he would come in and be just a stabilizing presence for that kid, and he'd finally teach him how to throw a touch pass. Because that's the only thing I really see lacking majorly in this kid's game. He ain't got touch passes yet. Once he gets that, he's going to be very vicious, very scary kid to play against right there. A- I would say on this season. It would have been great to get to the bowl, and it would have been great to hand, Cincy its third loss. But you know what? I felt them Super Bowl losses. So you know what? If we wasn't going to win the whole damn thing, I'm glad we didn't go. Because I hated the fact that we got two L's on our resume now because of what happened in the last couple of Super Bowls. But A-. Leo?
All right, Leo, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a C+.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, because I think before the season started, I think I had the Niners going 13-4 or something like that. So I had them I think I might have picked them going to the Super Bowl. I'm not sure, but
I picked
Green Bay
to go to the Super Bowl.
It was either be the Niners or Green Bay going to the Super Bowl. So I'm gonna go with a C+. The reason is because I had high hopes for Jimmy.
Tried to tell you.
Yeah, like Jimmy got hard. I give him props, like Sel says, a lot of these guys were playing with their heart, you know what I'm saying? Especially with that Green Bay. Watching that game 3 times, our defense was fucking lights out, but offensively, Jimmy was not doing anything until
Defense overachieved.
Until that last drive where you needed that field goal, for the win. You saw the defense, special teams, so what we lacked at Jimmy, special teams were just playing lights out. That's defense. Then, we had a shitty year beginning with the special teams, all that. But then when it was time, special teams came through. Gold was, he wasn't missing field goals. So all these other things are playing at a top level. But you don't got Jimmy. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy's like the one that's kind of like holding you back. It's like, like that meme we're seeing. Jimmy is that guy that it's a club, it's a project.
Group project. Yeah.
He gets an A+, but Jimmy's there. What did he do? I do not hate Jimmy at all, but
no, neither do I.
And and then we see, and also I can't blame Jimmy. There's a thread on Twitter that showed all Jimmy G's touchdown throws, and you can see, yeah, he had that poise. Remember everybody's like, oh, he kind of looks like John Montana out there. You know what I'm saying? Because he was moving around mobile and all that. But then once he got that torn ACL injury in KC, that was just he was never the same. So I can't blame Jimmy on that. That was just the injury wise. And then there's times we would see plays like he's open. Kyle has the right plays. It's just that execution is not there. So therefore, Jimmy either, even the last play before he threw that pick, he on the right side, I think he had Kittle wide open. Yeah, the whole field. But yeah, I mean, but he was getting rushed. But if he looked, he could have, threw it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I'm gonna go with a C plus because also the season was just roller coaster. We start 2-0, we lose at Green Bay, and then I'm at that game in Arizona. I'm at the game at Levi's with Arizona with was it Colt McCoy was a quarterback?
Yeah.
I'm there, you're like, what the fuck is? You're like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? And then I go to Seattle. I see that shit again. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This team not supposed to be playing like this. You know what I'm saying? But then they win what? Eight games.
They won 9 of the last 11.
Oh yeah, there you go. See, right there, I'm like, oh shit, this team, they got it. But we were 10 points up in the fourth quarter.
Again.
Oh yeah, that's another thing with Kyle. You got these, fourth quarter.
I think I've seen a couple 53-0 after those in those 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
When they took the lead of 10 or more.
Can I interject?
Yeah, of course.
Kyle Shanahan
game
for the Atlanta Super Bowl. He's the offensive coordinator. Can we just get that out of here?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's just say
yes and no. Yes and no. Because he didn't have
the head coach.
He has no control over the defense.
Yeah,
that's correct.
But he didn't run the ball. That's the problem in that game.
He did run the ball, and this is the problem. This is a narrative that no one pays attention to.
Coleman got hurt. I understand.
He did run the ball. He did run the ball in the Niners Super Bowl as well. Jimmy Garoppolo checked out of 4 running plays to pass the ball. This goes back to my
God damn it! It's really on Jimmy even more now.
This goes back to the Rams game on the NFC title game. You force the guy to throw the ball, he's going to make the mistake. And Matt Ryan, same thing in Atlanta. They were going to run the ball. Kyle Shanahan also admitted, though, he was going to take the kill shot. He had Julio Jones wide open. The running back misses the block, fumble. Otherwise, if he doesn't miss the block, that is touchdown, game over. Atlanta beats New England. These are the narratives that needs to be stopped because.
But I don't know because that's a 7-step drop. That's a little.
It was a 5-step drop, and it was a skinny post to Julio Jones who smoked the safety, and that was if he hits it, it's game over. These are narratives.
But the fumble. I mean, I don't know. The
fumble's not on the coach either, though.
Yeah.
But he took the risk. When all you had to do is run the ball, take some time off that clock.
And again, then you're killing the guy for being too aggressive or not too aggressive.
But if you're up 25 points, you can be a little bit non-aggressive.
But they weren't up 25 points at that point.
At that point, no. But the play calling was sketchy. How many carries after in the second half? I believe they only had like 5 carries, 5 rushes, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to go back and check, but.
Well, you also have to give credit to the New England Patriots defense. Like they get paid too.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's the conversation that needs to be had. Like I'm a Kyle Shanahan. Like I'm a Kyle Shanahan stan. Like the guy is an offensive genius. Matt Ryan in that offense was prolific that year, and had he hit that one pass, we're talking a completely different topic. And Kyle Shanahan didn't lose that Super Bowl, right? Kyle Shanahan
but he did. He did shy away from giving Debo those reverses in that Super Bowl for no reason.
But after a while, that's going to get stopped. Again,
do it until they stop you. That's always my philosophy.
But when they start to stop you, when they start showing 7, 8 man fronts, and that's exactly what happened. Remember,
I'd still attempt it.
I got a question here for you.
If it stops, then what? Because then fans are gonna still be mad about, why did he run the ball too much? We should have passed it. No one's ever gonna be happy about it. But
not at all.
Like I said, I had Mike Person on. I've spoken to Joe Staley about this. In those games, Jimmy, if you go back and watch those plays, Jimmy Garoppolo is canning out of a run. Remember, he does this can. He's canning out of a run play into pass plays.
So he's calling his own number.
Exactly. And he had to because he did the right thing. And all the guys that I've spoken to said Jimmy did the right thing because who's not going to take George Kittle versus Terrell Suggs?
Yeah.
So he had Kittle smoke Suggs 3 times, and he had 3 bat downs. 2 of the bat downs, if you go back and watch the tape,
pat downs.
You have Laken Tomlinson puts Chris Jones' arms in the air. That's not on the quarterback. That's not on Kyle Shanahan. These are narratives that need to stop. It is on the film. It's on everything you look. You can look at it from the end zone angle or the over top angle. You'll see it. Laken Tomlinson puts the guy's arms in the air. As an offensive lineman, you are taught to keep those arms down.
Yeah,
that's not on the quarterback or Kyle Shanahan.
Can I ask you one about the Rams game? Okay, Shanahan's play calling in that. Why did we not see any play action passes that mimicked the runs we were running?
Because
we didn't. They had eight guys in the box.
Because when you have no time to throw the ball, this is again you're forcing Jimmy Garoppolo to throw the ball. You have 8-9 man fronts. You're asking your protection to hold up 3 to 4 seconds. It's not going to work.
But these guys were selling out hard on the run.
Yeah, but you have to be able to get the ball.
So shouldn't you have given them something to think about at least once? I mean, they didn't do it once.
There was just nothing for them to do it. The looks were fine. I have the only play call in that game that I have a problem with was 3rd and 2. 3rd and 2, motioning Trent over to the right and running.
And not following him. Yeah.
We're not following him and or running it with Juice. Like follow Trent. You're gonna do that. Follow Trent.
Yeah.
Right. And then people are like, well, Debo never got the ball in that. There were
no
6
jet
plays.
sweeps all game.
They ran 6 plays. How many jet sweeps they run this year? 3 on the season. They didn't go back to that jet sweeps. They started using Debo in the backfield as a runner instead of using the jet sweeps at different angles.
What about Ayuk? Get Ayuk involved.
They did.
I ran the run
two
game.
of them. I think 2 of those 3.
Throw the damn ball.
No, in the reverse game. I'm talking about in the reverse game.
But this goes.
I think 2 or 3 of those were to Ayuk. 2 out of 3 of them.
And why not use Debo, motion him out? Everybody's targeting him. Why not move him around? Put him in the backfield, motion him out more. I feel like Shanahan didn't call the best game against the Rams. I'm not saying it's definitely on Jimmy. I don't blame the defense at all. I think they did a damn good job holding the Rams to 20 points a game. They average about 27 points a game. You hold them to 20. I think this is on, and I don't know if it's because Kyle is limited a little bit by Jimmy. I think that could be some of it. But to me, I think you got to at least run 1 or 2 play action passes that mimic the run, that mimic the runs we're doing with Elijah.
I hear what you're saying, and this is part of goes back to this is where my theory has always been. Kyle Shanahan is handcuffed as a play caller by his quarterback, and Kyle Shanahan is handcuffing his quarterback. Like that is because there's no trust there, right? But when you have it, when the Rams sold out on the run all game long, like they knew, say, hey, look, they're going to try to run the ball, they're trying to be more physical. This is what they're going to do, right? And when you have guys running wide open, Kyle had guys open all over the place.
Hell yeah!
Protection. Jimmy refused to throw the ball, so I have no problem with his play calls because they were there, play action or not. He missed repeated guys. There were so many blown coverages on this tape. I'm going to send it to you. There's so many blown coverages on this tape from the Rams that it is disgusting that Jimmy Garoppolo could not execute the most simple pass concepts that Kyle Shanahan has drawn up. And that's the frustrating part about it. Was a 10-point lead. You know what? That's another thing about the NFL right now. 10-point leads are not insurmountable. 10 points is nothing. 10 points can be had in 3 minutes. Boom.
That's why I don't throw any blame. I mean, Tart should have had the pick, right? There's still 9 minutes on the clock. We're only up 3, and our offense is doing nothing at that fucking point.
Exactly, right?
So I can't blame Tart. I cannot blame Tart on that.
It was 6 or 7 minutes left.
And then
it was 9 minutes left.
9 minutes left. Yeah.
It was 9.
I gotta go back and look at that. From what I was looking at, I could have swore it said 6:45.
No, it was 9, and they would have had the ball on the 35. So we would have probably went 3 and out or threw a pick. So I don't put that on Tart.
I can't agree with that.
Yeah. At that point, we had done nothing. Cello, the last 2 drives, we did absolutely nothing. We went negative yards.
It could have changed the momentum, but after that, though, the next play, Stafford finds Beckham, and then Jimmy Ward gives him it's a it's a 15-yard pass and then a 15-yard helmet to helmet. So
the Rams had the better quarterback, though. The Rams had the I talked about it all year. The Rams had, Womack didn't want to admit that Jimmy was not as good as Stafford. We all seen it. He was making the throws Jimmy can never make.
I agreed with that, but you know what I'm saying? That on the real, look, Stafford is definitely a better quarterback, hands down, than Jimmy is. He can make more throws than Jimmy, and he's not afraid to let it rip. You know what I mean? That's the difference between him. He you know what I mean? He doesn't have it in him. He got injured before, but there's no stigma in his head. I'm gonna get injured again if I lay in here and then take this hit.
And he'll throw a pick, and he's not scared to keep throwing it. That's what I do like about him.
Well, no, Jimmy ain't either, though. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying?
But Stafford has more of a chance completing deep plays than Jimmy does.
Yeah, but he'll fuck up a throw and then go back and be like, I can make that throw, and then fuck up and make another fucked up thing. That's the problem with Jimmy. Staff will see, okay, I'm not going to throw it there no more. I'm going to throw it back this way now. You know what I mean? But he kind of has a similar issue because his stigma is
he's not the most clutch,
footsteps early. You know what I mean? Because all the years he got beat up in Detroit, that's still
can't blame him.
You know what I mean? But so why do you think he leads the league in pick sixes this year? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, let's just that's just the way it is. I think personally, one of the main issues that really plagued his game was the running game. You know what I mean? Yeah, they did sell out to stop it, but this is why I love Mostert so much. Mostert has no hesitation. You know what I mean? He looks at his hole and he commits, and that's the one thing that showed up on the Rook this year that really made it at the worst time.
Well, you don't have that gear that Mostert has either. He doesn't have
the gear.
Not like Mostert, though.
He might have a tenth of a second or two off of Mostert's time, but he's just as fast as Mostert. Let's not get that translation here, bro.
Mostert is a track speed.
No, dude, trust me, bro. The difference there is that Mostert commits. He sees his hole. He's not dancing in the hole. This kid reminded me of fucking Kevon Barlow.
I don't think there was holes there on Sunday though.
They were there.
I don't think so. I looked at him. There was nowhere for Mitchell to go, dude.
There were sometimes he didn't follow his lead blocker. They maybe
weren't home run holes, but there was holes there for him to keep the chains moving at 5 yards a pop, 4 yards a pop.
To go with Sel's point, the film does show that there was holes, but this is an issue that you can't bring up on 49ers Twitter because they're going to try to kill you for it. Because they're going to kill you a hater right away. Elijah Mitchell's vision was not very good this year. And it's okay to say that.
Yeah.
Right? He's not as fast as Mostert, but to Sel's point, yes, when Mostert sees it, he hits it. Mitchell didn't see it. He would hesitate, right? Yeah. And when he did finally see it, then you'd see the burst, and he's gone. But he missed so many holes in so many games.
They opened him up.
And that's part of it. And then, and against the Rams game, and, this is where you have to have a quarterback that can push a defense off you, right? Like, okay, cool. You want to commit to selling out on the run. You need to prove to me that you can beat me in the air, and they couldn't, and that's what happened. Yeah, and that's what happens. I'm sending them right now.
Let me get one more quick question in this one. Do you have any insight as to what is up with Trey Sermon? Wouldn't he be the ideal back to be physical, tire the Rams out a little bit, change the pace, run him a couple of 5 times, 6 times a game? And if I'm not mistaken, he's a decent receiving back, right?
Trey is a gap scheme running back. The Niners run a lot of outside zone. This is where Anthony Lynn is going to be very, very valuable.
Yeah, we're going to touch on that.
Hell yeah, I'm juiced for that.
For those of you guys who follow Brad Graham, SF Niners, he had a really good comp, Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Proper comparison for Trey Sermon, a Melvin Gordon type, who's a power back, gap scheme, where the Niners run a lot of just outside zone stuff, right? And that's not his game. If you go back and watch Trey Sermon in college, who did he run with? Kyler Murray, Justin Fields, Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts. What do those guys run primarily? Read zone, RPO. Who's Trey Lance? What does he run? Read zone, RPO. So this is where kind of like those selections were head scratchers with Aaron Banks and Trey Sermon. When you really think about it, adding Anthony Lynn now with Trey Sermon, Aaron Banks, and potentially if they get a center, let's just say example, they get Zion Johnson out of Boston College to start at center next year if Mac retires. Now you have a very powerful gap scheme and the ability to run outside zone with both of those guys, and you have the ability to have a lightning and thunder type of combination where you have this gap scheme with Sermon, and then boom, I need to hit this outside zone. Here goes Elijah Mitchell. Oh, by the way, Deebo Samuel's back here too. And if you keep Mostert, now you have a home run threat. And that's the idea here. So
I think we should find a way to get Mostert for sure.
There's a lot of possibilities here with this run game, right? Especially when adding Anthony Lynn here. So with Sermon, I think he's going to be fine because when you saw him run, and most of his successful runs were literally between the guard and the center. Yeah. And he was getting 6, 7, 8 yards every time he was doing that. and that's kind of where he's going to be. So
Don't you think Shanahan should have been able to design a couple plays for the guy and get him a couple touches? I mean, that's on the coach a little bit.
I agree. No, I agree, but I just think he's a certain fit. Like I think that's the thing that's the problem. That's probably the only problem I have with Kyle. Kyle is so scheme dependent. He's so scheme dependent. If you're not my scheme guy, I'm not really going to use you.
Yep.
But I always say this. I'm like, if you are, at some point, your scheme only works with good players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just use your good players and figure it out, right?
Yep.
And so this is my fear though with Trey Lance.
Does.
This is my fear with Trey Lance. Like Kyle is very precision oriented, scheme based on offense in the passing game, timing and rhythm. Is he going to be able to let go of the reins and allow Trey to make off schedule plays, allow Trey to do things that are not familiar to Kyle Shanahan's playbook, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know how Kyle is. 3-step drop, boom, ball needs to be out. But if the quarterback doesn't like it, Kyle's gonna have to let it go. Hey, let this kid make some plays, because if you saw it, I grew up in Philadelphia, right? I watched Andy Reid for years as the Eagles coach. He worked with McNabb was the same way when he started. Vic was like that before Andy Reid made him get in the playbook. We saw Mahomes his first year. A lot of that stuff was off schedule. Kyle's gonna have to let this kid grow as an off schedule passer, and then reel him back in. Like, hey, look, you can do that, but if I have this perfectly open for you, take that. And that's what we saw Mahomes kind of develop that towards the back end of the year. He was taking the stuff that was easy, boom, 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 and then boom, I'll hit you with a big one. And that's the kind of the hope that I have for Trey Lance. Like, my expectations for next year aren't that high, but I think just the marriage between Trey and Kyle need to be like in line. Like, they need to make sure they go to marriage counseling, like, for lack of a better analogy, right? They need to be in line all the way.
Trust issues.
Exactly. And that's the biggest thing we saw with Jimmy Garoppolo. There was a trust issue here. The minute Jimmy threw a pick, how many times did they run 10, 11 times in a row?
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like, you have to trust your players to make plays. And with Trey, what I did like about Trey, when he threw the interception against Houston, Kyle didn't take the ball out of his hands. Kyle said, keep firing, kid.
Yep.
And he let him keep firing. And we saw him take the shot downfield to Ayuk, which was almost a touchdown. How long has it been since you've seen a pass like that? Kaepernick?
It's been a minute.
Right? That's the kind of shit that this offense is lacking. And I don't want to hear it about, it's the West Coast offense. You know what? The West Coast offense had deep shots in it too.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It's just going down the field all the damn time. T.O. existed with Steve Young.
John Taylor.
John Taylor. We know how this stuff.
J.J. Stokes. Oh, these guys.
Not so much Stokes. But
you like the yak, but like with Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm looking at the numbers right now. Jimmy Garoppolo had, where's it at here? 1,966 yards in yak. He threw for 38-10. So literally more than half his yards in yak.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
And how many of those passes were actually not on target? Too high.
Mm-hmm. I just part of it. I'm glad it's over. I'm ready for next year, to be honest with you.
I didn't get a chance to sneak in my grade. I'm gonna say C. No, we just around here we kind of just freestyle. We go with the flow. Sometimes we get a little out of sorts, but we try to circle back eventually. I'm gonna give him a C. Huh? Yeah, because what Leo mentioned. Okay, so at the beginning of the season, I picked us to win the Super Bowl because I liked our roster, okay? I realized, if you go back and you watch, I realized we had holes at cornerback, and Vera getting hurt didn't help us out. Now, the one group I was really surprised by, and I under evaluated them, was the wide receivers. I think coming in, I thought that was going to be possibly one of our weaknesses, because I was worried about injuries and depth. Jennings performed, he showed he can be a very solid possession receiver. Ayuk stepped it up despite, I don't know what the hell was going on with him and Shanny. Despite all that, he stepped up. Debo was better than I ever thought he'd be.
Superstar.
I thought he was going to be good, but he's approaching superstar level. You could argue he could be in MVP conversation, but it's a quarterback bias league, so we know that that's not going to happen. And you have Cooper Kupp as well. But I just feel like Shanahan, it's not all on Shanny, okay? But this team it didn't look prepared at times. A lot of these games, we didn't really put together a full 4 quarters, maybe 1 or 2 times this whole year. Situational football was not great. And I just feel Kyle is a little stubborn at times. We've talked about this.
Well,
his stubbornness,
like his dad.
He has a little bit of Chip Kelly in him, a little tiny bit, a little just in the stubbornness, and I think he wants
say that name anymore.
And I think he wants credit. I think he wants, which I don't. That's why I don't think we would maybe even go after Aaron Rodgers or Brady if they were available, and we didn't when Brady was available, and that could have been part of it. I think Shanny has a little bit of an ego. I mean, a little bit of arrogance at times. Now, just to see, because I feel this roster was Super Bowl worthy, and the defense, the front seven was lights out the last 8 weeks. Maybe they had one hiccup in there, but the defense was there. The running game was there for the most part of the year. The problem ended up being, and I knew this deep down in my heart that this was going to happen. The teams, I said it on the show many times when I was arguing with fucking Womack. Teams are a good team in the playoffs is going to take away the run game and make Jimmy beat him with his arm, and he could not do it. He could not do it in the Super Bowl. He could not do it here. There was a couple times this season he could not do it. The Tennessee game. Now you're going to say he was injured. I could give you that.
Yeah, that came after though.
But we've seen so much sample of him doing the same thing when he's not hurt. So just for me, it was too much of a helter-skelter year with the pretty loaded roster and not too many injuries. We had some injuries, but not any more than any other playoff teams had. A lot of teams had some of these key injuries. We didn't lose our QB for much. We had a solid backup in Trey. So I like Shanny as a play caller overall. But he kind of confuses himself. I think he tries to trick himself, outthink himself, and it shows sometimes. The use check play, and then he did that other use check play. I forget who it was against. It was a direct snap to him. Like, what the fuck, man?
Oh, they ran that. They ran the fullback sneak. They ran it.
Who
twice.
was that to? Who was that against?
Green Bay, and it worked, right? And then they used it again against Arizona. Like, we knew what the shit was coming, but with that use check fullback sneak, it looked like it was supposed to be a toss, and that's why Lance was behind Juice. If you go back and watch the play, the entire offensive line is shifting to the left, and then Juszczyk just takes a sneak and he's short a yard. But the whole line shifts left, and Lance is looking for the toss. If Lance gets that toss, that's a touchdown. It was wild, like the way that play looked.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, just too much. I don't think Kyle is that great situational. The clock can be questionable at times, the way he runs the clock. I think he abandons stuff too often, but I don't know. We got to see him with the good quarterback, like a really good quarterback, and it may take a year for Trey to. And I'm a little concerned because Kyle doesn't have the pedigree of developing a quarterback. A lot of people assume that he does, but what's the quarterback he ever developed? Yeah, RG3 kind of ran to the ground. He gets credit for kind of fucking his career up, if you ask me.
Yeah, to develop a quarterback.
He had RG3. I mean, well, he wasn't the head coach. He was not the head coach.
That's what I'm saying. He hasn't had a chance to develop a quarterback. That's another narrative.
Well, this is it.
He always had. Now the guys he's technically handpicked, Jimmy, Mullins, CJ. None of those guys have technically gotten better.
Why would you pick Beathard? Could we go to that?
I thought Beathard was just.
Why would you, if you have Hoyer going into the season and you have a chance at Deshaun Watson? I mean, this is way off topic, but
I'll be honest with you. If there was one quarterback who was plagued by drop passes his entire career, and it was Beathard. You know what I mean? But Beathard's for some reason, those same guys came in that was dropping all the passes for him, caught every one Mullins threw their way. So I don't know. I don't understand how that works.
Mullins had some.
We got no receivers too. That's
no one wants to talk about that. Kittle has brick hands, and Debo had 12 drops this year too. So there's that. With the CJ pick, I don't blame him for that pick. I just don't care. No. Like, it's a 4th round quarterback. Who gives a shit?
But I'm saying, why would you pass up to Shawn?
Because they were looking to get Kirk.
Mahomes.
We know the plan. We knew the plan.
They wanted Cousins, yeah.
And even in that draft, no one knew Mahomes or Watson was going to be that.
No, good. I didn't think. I thought Watson was going to be really good. I did not think Mahomes was going to be that good.
I said Mahomes.
I had questions, but
Mahomes was careless at times. I wasn't big on Mahomes going into the draft.
If you just paid attention to what Kyle was saying, like, yeah, we're gonna go after Kirk. So the plan was to get Kirk and just have a guy that you can have a project at.
What is it with Kirk? What the fuck? What is it?
Kirk is better than Jimmy Garoppolo, and they probably win a Super Bowl with Kirk.
I don't know. I will say he can make more throws than Jimmy. I agree with you there.
That's all you need.
But the clutchness is just about on par with Jimmy, where he closed those clutch picks.
Would you have to be in a clutch situation if you're winning most of those games in the fourth quarter?
That's true.
But Cousins just has a nose. Cousins has that nose to turn it over. He has that Jimmy.
He had like 5 interceptions this year.
What point in the game were they? They were all seemed pretty damn clutch.
Like early.
Okay.
Cousins only had 5 picks.
He's also
had like 5 picks. I'll check it real quick.
Maybe I'm going off of the past, but
didn't we check? Yeah, we did check this stat earlier.
Yeah, at one point going into the Niners game, he only had 2 interceptions.
That's true. Yeah, well, yeah, he hadn't had an interception since like week whatever the first one.
Yeah, he had 7 interceptions to 33 touchdowns. I would take that over 20.
Yeah. We did this. We checked. We remember. I think a couple of weeks ago.
I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't take him over Jimmy. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying he does have that. He does have that Stafford.
Hold on,
Stafford, Jimmy.
No, Stafford's another one.
We all said we would take Garoppolo over Cousins.
No, I didn't. Go back. I didn't. No, I said I would take Cousins. I said I would take Cousins.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did, bro. I did.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at that, bro. I don't know, dog. We all take Garoppolo over Cousins. None of us gave that guy respect.
I said Cousins. I did.
You know,
when you have a guy like Stafford or Cousins, who let's just say Stafford. Stafford had what, 15 interceptions or whatever.
Remember, we were rumored too to grab him.
But he had I was there. I'll tell you all about that. But Stafford, 45 touchdowns, you can survive those touchdowns. You can survive those interceptions when you throw 45 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, he threw 2. He basically threw 2 interceptions against the Niners in the title game, but he still threw for fucking almost 400 yards and did what he had to do. Like, you can survive those things. People make fun of Stafford for those interceptions, but last time I checked, they won the division and they're in the Super Bowl now because you can overcome them with good quarterback play.
Yeah.
But I will say that McVay took Goff to a Super Bowl as well. So some system.
You can say Cal took Jimmy to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. Like Stafford is a top 8 quarterback. It's not arguable. It's just not. Yeah. You can't overcome bad franchises like Detroit. Look at Detroit. Detroit's just terrible.
Career killers.
We've been saying that.
Chicago's a career killer for quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. You got places like Philadelphia outside of the McNabb years. It's been terrible. The Giants, once Eli went away, look what happened. Miami, look what Miami's doing. Like, you can't overcome bad franchises. You get somebody in a good franchise with a quality coach who has good scheme and a scheme that allows you to be free the way Stafford is free. There's a reason Kyle Shanahan wanted Stafford. Kyle admitted he wanted Stafford. We're in the Super Bowl with Stafford. We probably win 14 games with Stafford.
Javi, we tried to tell Womack this before the season. He didn't want to hear it.
Listen, there's like Jimmy Garoppolo it brought hope to this franchise, right? Because the guys before him were terrible. Like, outside of Kaepernick, everyone else is fucking shitty.
He was a winner.
Yeah, and you won games. Like, think about it. We went 2-14 with Chip, and then 5-11 with Tom Sula, and then of course the fucking Harbaugh shit at the end. Like, that 3-year stretch.
Oh, this is Womack, by the way. He's hiding on an alias. Kyle wanted everyone.
Yeah. Why is that? Because he knew his guy wasn't very good.
Precisely.
Yep.
And he wanted guys that were clear upgrades. So when it came to Watson, when it came to Stafford, when it came to Brady, when it came to I don't know about Brady, but he's looking at Rodgers. Like, all that stuff comes out.
Yeah.
It all came out. So.
All right. Well, I think we covered enough about this year. Let's try to move on. What are our biggest needs this year going into the offseason? I think we can all agree corner is number one. Well, I don't know. Sella, you said safety, right?
Well, so if we do go
secondary,
safety, I like Sign. He's pretty good. I also like the kid out of Oregon. I like him more because he's more of the mold of the guy who's going to get you those picks center field. You know what I mean? That's basically what I'm looking for. Somebody like that. Corners, I haven't really done enough homework on them, which I should have.
And Verrett is a free agent. Keep that in mind too.
He's coming back.
I think we've done enough with this Verrett, Jalen Hurd, freaking scenario saga shit going on. We need to stop taking flyers on guys that are low risk, high reward. We need people that are going to be in the game when we need them in the damn game. We
but
flirted
if
with
you get Verrett at the right price, I say
Nah, I'm good, dude. We flirted with it.
Get him for cheap.
I like Mostert. I like Verrett. I like D Ford. You know what I mean? I mean, we can keep going here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with you on all those guys.
I like all of them. You know what I mean? But let's be honest, bro. You know, as good as they are, they're basically glass cannons. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of done with that. I've been done with that since Balky and Tank Carity. You know what I mean? So I'm getting kind of tired of that. I mean, all right, I get it. You took a flyer on a guy who was high upside, maybe low first round pick, like a Reuben Foster that fell to like the 4th or 3rd round. You know what I mean? Because of an injury. Well, I'm just saying, it's just this is the example. You know what I mean? So
I got you.
If they fell to like the 4th round and you took a flyer on that guy, maybe once every other couple years, all right, that's understandable. But if you're doing this every damn draft or looking for steals on bargain basement cornerbacks, that's the shit that got us in this position in the first place.
We both wanted. Who do we want? We both wanted your boy.
We both wanted Samuel. You know what I mean? We both wanted Surtain. You know what I'm saying? Well, I wanted Surtain. I don't remember how you felt about Surtain.
I didn't like getting a corner that high up. But
right. I like
when Samuel's there and we go after Banks. I thought that was a little bit. I don't know.
Right. I like Melifonwu. You weren't into Melifonwu, but either way, both of those guys would have came on. It would have been better than anything we had, you know, up to that point. You know what I'm saying? And I still think either one of them are better. I haven't seen Melifonwu's number, but you know, Samuel obviously did what he the hell had to do. Both of those guys, both of those guys
talent on the defense on the front 7 from the
exactly. So
Chargers.
You know they can hold their own if they're put on an island. You know, and in that there, I kind of got a little upset at D'Amico, even though he spun a pretty damn good masterpiece this year. He pissed me off a few times when he just didn't have his guys up on the line for a jam. And I know we're not doing that. We're not that, you know, that's not really our forte. But there are certain times where a jam you don't think a jam would have took Cup off of his route a few times or screwed up that timing? You know what I mean? I mean, you're giving them a 15-yard, 10-yard, you know what I mean, cushion every single time. They're going to make their break, and you're not going to be there to do anything about it. You know, and the fact that we played around all these years with, you know what I mean, let's see who's out on the waiver wire, you know what I mean, just totally screwed us over. I mean, yeah, you're not putting enough stock into it because you got a great front 7. Well, what happens when they can't get home? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think they've invested a shit ton in defensive line. I think they're going to do it again.
Yeah, that's important.
Because that ultimately that is the recipe, right? Because they got to the game without a shutdown corner. Now, Emmanuel Mosley had a hell of a year. He didn't allow a touchdown all season.
He was great.
We'll see what happens with Ambry Thomas.
I like Ambry. I think he'll be right.
I like Lador.
The position to me that they're probably going to go with at 61 is safety, because you're probably not bringing back Tart, and Tart should be back. I don't care about the dropped interception. Tart is another solid, strong safety that doesn't get enough credit for what he does. But you have strong safeties like Leon O'Neal Jr., who I just interviewed. You got
this guy was at the Senior Bowl. I forgot to mention.
Yeah, you got Jalen Petrie from Baylor. You got Nick Cross out of Maryland. Those guys are really good. The 2 corners that you mentioned earlier, so those guys are awesome. But then you have guys like Roger McCreary. So like let's just use Roger McCreary as an example. He's the Auburn corner, right? He's a slot corner. I would rather them go slot corner over an outside corner, because if you trust Ambry Thomas to keep developing the way he is, and you trust E-Man to keep doing what he's doing, you have a nice group of corners, right? And then you have to get a depth piece. So this is where the Verrett thing kind of comes into play. If he's just a valuable depth person who comes in situationally, you know, you don't need him to play fucking 50 snaps, maybe 10, 50 snaps a game. That is fine. So Roger McCreary out of Auburn is a slot corner that I think everyone should really pay attention to. People knocked him for his short arms. What he told me, he goes, just watch the tape. He didn't allow shit. Like, you go back and watch the Auburn-Alabama game. He was balling. We know Alabama got wide receivers for days.
Yeah.
So I would go safety, slot corner, right, or slot corner safety. But then the second position is going to be either a center or an edge, because the Niners need to figure out this center position. You can't keep every 3 years, you know, we're going to get a new center. Like, think about it.
I think the whole right side of the offense, of the line.
So, all right, and then you have to figure out how is McGlinchey? Is McGlinchey back to his McGlinchey self? Right? And McGlinchey is fine.
Pass blocking. Come on, Javi. Pass blocking.
This is again
run blocking is solid. Okay.
This is another narrative that gets spun out of control, right? If there's 60 offensive snaps in a game, and he plays well for 58 of them, is he a good right tackle or is he a bad right tackle? Or are we going to only discount him for those 2 bad plays?
Would you say that Tom Compton filled in at par with him?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
He had a streak when he was doing well. I would agree with that. But as far as being better than McGlinchey, we said he was during that streak. But as being better than McGlinchey,
bro,
I don't really think that highly. Yeah, I don't really think that highly of McGlinchey to be honest, as a pass blocker.
Yeah.
I think he gets into his speed a little too much, and his hand placement, is kind of
just kind of slow.
If you go back to the game against Green Bay in the playoffs, what did they do? They lined up Sean Gary on him, and they were smoking Compton's boots.
Him up all
Yeah.
day.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's where it all went.
The Bengals game came off, smoking his boots. Like this whole narrative Compton played up to par to McGlinchey. Not true. It's just not true.
I think McGlinchey in the past game.
I think he did a pretty good job. But I'll be honest with you, like I said, I'm not going over here to just crush McGlinchey or to praise Compton. I really wasn't pleased with neither one of them, to be honest.
How much will we have to pay McGlinchey?
He's getting $10.5 million because
right.
I'll draft somebody. That
$10.5 million is well below average cost.
I think we get a 4th or 5th.
What is the thinking about Jalen Moore? What is the thinking about Jalen Moore over there? I think
he's a play guard. He's more.
That's nice. I can see that.
Because when I saw him in last year's Senior Bowl, they had him playing guard and they had him play tackle a little bit. He's better suited for a guard because of his wide base. He doesn't have the arm reach to be a tackle, right? So those things are a concern. So you saw that when he played tackle, he wasn't that good either there. He's more of a guard. So this is my thinking. Has no, you might call me crazy.
You're going to convert.
Part of me thinks they're going to let Lakin walk.
I think so.
Slide Banks to his normal left guard spot that he played in college, and insert Jalen Moore right guard, or they're going to draft a right guard, and the guy that comes to mind is Shawn Ryan out of UCLA. That's a name you guys should watch too.
Was he at Senior Bowl?
No, he's a redshirt sophomore. He's just coming out. I was talking to his agent earlier today. He's coming on, but the reason I bring up these names is because they've been associated with the Niners, right?
Okay.
He's projected to be one of the people to fall to us in the second round.
Exactly. Yeah. He's a top 70 pick, right? He's going to have to work on some technique, but he played under Chip Kelly. What do they run? Outside zone. He's a really good pass.
Makes sense.
Right now, if you don't do that and you bring back Lakin and McGlinchey, let's just say McGlinchey's quad actually tore at the muscle, not at the ligament point. If it tore in the muscle, his career is probably over. So now you have to go find the right tackle. And that's where I'm like, shit, this tackle group isn't very strong. Like there's Penning out of Northern Iowa. They have the kid from Montana that's pretty good. Obviously, we're not getting Evan Neal out of Alabama because he's going to go fucking top 5. But you have to find another right tackle situation here. So hopefully,
what about Trent Brown?
Nah. There's a scheme. That's just a work ethic issue. It was never a scheme thing. It's a work ethic issue.
That was the same thing that he flamed out in the Raiders and the Patriots.
He was good with the Patriots. He got him.
Yeah, he was good with the Patriots, but his second go around with the Patriots, Bill Belichick had an issue.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a work ethic issue. It's not always about the scheme or stuff like. It's like the stuff that you're not doing what they're asking you to do. Like, hey,
keep your weight to a certain point.
Look at Kinlaw, right? They told Kinlaw rehab with us when he first got the procedure last.
Are we going to start Kinlaw? Really?
What did they do? What did he do? He didn't rehab with them, and then he had to go get ACL reconstruction. Like these are the things that get you out of the NFL. Follow simple fucking instructions.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just do what we ask you to do. Like we're gonna pay for your surgery and your treatment. Just be here to get it, and we'll take care of you. Right? Kinlaw looks like he lost a lot of weight. He looks to be in better shape, so hopefully that helps. But he's a 315-pound guy.
We knew about this knee injury coming into the draft with Kinlaw, right?
They thought it was arthritis. It ended up just being some type of ACL tear that was like super small, but it never got fixed and never got healed correctly. I mean, guys,
this was a bulk move to me.
I would give the Niners a little bit of the benefit of the doubt here because if we remember correctly, Jimmy Ward was always hurt, Eric Armstead was always hurt, and they stuck with these guys. If you stick with these guys that have the potential, they may surprise you. Look at Armstead. Look at Ward.
Yeah, Armstead. I got to give Armstead some props. I was hard on him for a long time.
The thing about Lake Tomlinson came from Detroit. He was terrible in Detroit in the first year in San Francisco. He was bad. And now I don't want to live without that guy. You have to let these guys develop and coach them up. I don't expect a rookie defensive tackle, rookie offensive guard to be like this next tier guy unless they're, it's very rare you have a perfect prospect. So with Kinlaw, I didn't have the expectation of him being the DeForest Buckner because he was never a pass rusher. He's a run stopper. So they played this wide 9. Cool. You want to play wide 9? Cool. That's why you get a Kinlaw who's going to demand a double team up the middle.
Eat up blockers.
Exactly. You're going to eat up blockers. And, people are like, oh, he needs to be Buckner. No, he doesn't need to be Buckner. He needs to be Javon Kinlaw. Yeah. And that's the problem with some of these standards that are set with these players. Like, you have to give them their title. Don't compare them to everything out there. Like, let them be them, and they'll show you who they are. Like with Armstead. Oh, he's not a pass rusher. Yeah, he is. He just needs to pass rush from the inside.
Mm-hmm. That's where he's most effective.
Right? Same thing with Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Out of position.
And these guys get a bad rap because coaching staffs have to do certain things, and injuries force them to play other spots they don't need to be playing. It's just, it's. I feel bad because I talk to players, right, and they say these things. It's like, I'm a good person, like I'm a good player, and I'm out of position, out of necessity. I have to do these things. You heard Jimmy Ward talk about it. He's like, bro, they have me playing corner, then me playing slot corner. Oh, they have me play free safety, and then strong safety. Oh, and finally, when I'm at free safety, I'm one of the best in the league. Go figure. You drafted me to be safety. Play me at safety. Yeah. But they were so banged up at corner for all those years that they had to play him at corner. So how do you expect the guy to develop and be what he needs to be when he's out of position all the damn time? Solomon Thomas, another example. It's not his like the third. It's the coaching staff's fault for playing him on the edge because they couldn't fucking find a pass rusher.
We can go farther back.
He should have never been drafted at 3 to begin with, though. Regardless of all that, I should have been traded. We should have traded back. Kinlaw too. That we should have traded back. Then you don't even get those comparisons. Those comparisons of a straight up Buckner for Kinlaw because you trade back. It's always going to be. They're always going to be tied together because that 13th pick is always going to be tied to him, no matter where you select him. Yeah. They could have selected him at 31. But I'm saying you trade back and you get a bunch of guys, and then it's not a straight up swap for him.
Yeah, but
to begin with, you don't have to get. I'm not even saying you have to get Kinlaw at all. Just trade back and get a lot of value out of those picks. We could have traded back 2 or 3 times. There was tons of receivers there. I mean, that's a whole nother subject.
You got to also look at it from what he's looking at from a coach's perspective. He probably wasn't looking at it that way. He probably was comfortable with what he had in the wide receiver room at that time. I just figure that there's certain players that you can tell if a player can be a tweener. You know what I mean? And you can tell when they can't. And if you kind of just, you know what I mean, just say the hell with it, I'm going to roll the dice anyway, that fucks you over. Look at Kentuan Bomber. You know what I'm saying? When we picked that guy up, he wasn't no nose tackle. What the hell did we pick him up for? Oh, he's a big guy.
Ass pick. Don't give me
Anthony Adams. He's a 4-3 guy. You know what I'm saying? They had him as a nose tackle. What are you doing? Just because they're big doesn't mean that's your skill set. Just because that's who you are doesn't mean you're, you know what I'm saying, you're a 2 technique or a 3 technique. You know what I'm saying? So I mean it depends on the person, and you know what I'm saying, and the evaluation. I think that was something we touched on earlier. Is this true? Because it's been very documented and it's all over the place. Do you think it's true that Kyle and well, basically Shannon Lynch don't pay any attention to the scouts?
No, I don't think that's true at all. Because if that was the case, they would have missed on Greenlaw. They would have missed on Fred Warner. They would have missed on George Kittle.
That was okay. So this is my flip to that. You know what I'm saying? I figured that if that was the case, they're going ahead and they're not listening to the first round, you know what I'm saying, predictions to the game, you know, because we've seen Kyle fall in love with people all the time. Joe Williams
Dante Pettis
immediately. Dante Pettis, you know what I mean? And so my question to you is the third round pick hits, you know what I mean? Kittle, Warner, so on. Are these guys the brainchild of the scouts, and the first round misses are the brainchild of Shannon Lynch? I mean, what do you think of that? Because you can look it up right now, and it'll say it right there in Google.
I think you're on to something there. I think Kyle and John have their guys they're set on in the first 2 rounds, right? And they want to make sure they get them. I think they overthink some of this stuff, right? Like, could they have gotten Javonte Williams in round 2 instead of going with Aaron Banks?
Yeah.
DJ Chark instead of
could they go with DJ
Pettis?
Chark instead of Dante Pettis? Yeah, I mean, but you hear Kyle, like, Kyle's all about run blocking as a wide receiver and how he run routes and blah blah blah. DJ Chark wasn't the cleanest route runner in LSU. I would have DJ Chark over Dante Pettis 100 times out of 100. But that's not us. But when you start looking, when you see how they hit later on in the draft, that tells me that they're listening to their scouts and that the scouts have done all the work. I'm like, yo, this is this person, this is that. Like, how many times we hear Adam Peters been associated with the Fred Warners, the George Kittles, the Ambry Thomases. Like, those are hits because you're listening to your scouts who are doing this 365. They're on the road. Like, I was at Senior Bowl. I was at Senior Bowl. I saw 2 Niner scouts. Where were they at the entire time? The defensive line. Like, they were literally up the defensive ends' asses the entire time. It was crazy. I swear to God, me and Jason Ponce we're sitting there watching them because they do their one-on-one drills in the end zone, right? And we're just sitting there. I'm like, this shit got Niner shit on it. I was like, oh shit, here we go. Quincy Avery walks by, Trey Lance's quarterback coach. I said, what's up to him? And I was like, yo, Trey gonna be ready? He's like, yeah, we hope so. I said, where is he training at? He said, LA and with him. So I was like, all right, cool. But you can tell the Niners are going to.
Well, Mac, why don't you get your ass on here instead of making all these damn comments?
I'm going to say this, and people are going to hate it. Good. Give me another fucking pass rusher. Give me another one. Because if you trust Emmanuel Mosley and Ambry Thomas, then all you need is your front four to get home. Right? Richard Sherman wasn't the best at when he was here in 2019, and Emmanuel Mosley and Witherspoon were cycling through. 2019. And guess what? We had the number 1 pass coverage unit in the league. Why? Because your pass rush got home fast enough. If your pass rush can disrupt a quarterback in 2 seconds or less, you're going to win a lot of fucking.
That's what it is.
It doesn't really matter about your corners. Look at Trayvon Diggs. Cool, he got 11 interceptions. He gave up 1,000 yards, and Ayuk was smoking his boots. Ayuk, I was at the game. Ayuk was smoking his boots.
He had him on skates.
Right? So there's no number 1 corner in this draft. If you need a corner, go get yourself a slot corner, like I said, Roger McCreary. If you want to get an edge rusher, cool. Arnold Ebiketie out of Penn State. Jesse Luketa out of Penn State. Boye Mafe out of Minnesota. You got the kid Myjai Sanders out of Cincinnati. Bro, if you want to get a nose tackle, if you let DJ Jones walk, there's this kid called Travis Jones out of Connecticut. Bro, watch him. He's just filthy.
I got to get in my scouting. I haven't started yet. I'm going to start probably this week.
If I would not blame them if they went trenches the first 2 rounds. If they got a center and a defensive tackle, I wouldn't care. Because ultimately, if you trust E-Man and Ambry's development, you're in good shape. You got to figure out the strong safety spot. But last time I checked, D Ford ain't walking through that door no more.
No.
And
what is the status with D Ford? We can't cut him? We'll end up paying too much? Is that what it is?
They can cut him, but you have the dead cap, right? Yeah. And he'd rather just keep him on the roster just in case.
So we're just going to keep him again next season?
I mean, it's like $9 million. It's just a bad contract. Every team has a bad contract on him. Every team has one of those, and ours just happens to be D Ford.
I thought we restructured it though.
They did, but it's like injury guarantees what fucks them.
That injury guarantee, that's right.
Yeah, I think it was like $9.5 million.
So, is there any chance he produces it all?
No, I don't think so.
He's not even going to suit up.
I've given up on that thought process. Anything is found money from him.
Womack, again, if you're going to comment, jump online. Stop being scared of Javi.
He said he's 11 mil.
Yeah, I have to check on it, but yeah.
I thought she's supposed to be asleep, bro. You said you got to be up at 3 a.m. or some bullshit.
He's moving, all right? He's moving.
He's checking to see if we're bad-mouthing Jimmy. That's what he's doing. He's checking to see if we're bad-mouthing Jimmy.
He's been hiding. Like I told you, in the group chat, he admitted that I was right about Trey, but he ain't going to say that here.
Dead cap hit. Here we go. Here, dead cap hit for D Ford is $9.8 million. Mm-hmm. So
send the link.
No matter what they do, it's like that.
We already sent the link, Womack. Cut the shit.
Hey, Javi, are you going to be at the draft?
No. My wife would kill me if I went to Vegas for the draft.
I think we're going to Vegas for the draft.
We're thinking about it.
No, I've made a lot of trips this year. I went to 4 Niner games, then the Senior Bowl. That cost a grip. And then I was going to go to the Shrine game, but that was also in Vegas. I love my wife to death, but she's very She thinks I'm out here getting bitches and shit. I'm like, no, I'm going to watch football.
He's not scouting bitches. He's scouting tight ends and other kind of tight ends.
I'm trying to collect more of these. You know what I'm saying? These credentials. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. How'd you get? Yeah, man. Shit. How you get any of those?
He'll tell us off here.
Okay.
The credential stuff is, like I was telling Nip, like I've done a podcast for 3 years now. I've worked with Pro Football Network. I've worked with Niners Nation, and just the podcast. Just the influence, I guess, on Twitter and online. You submit it, and they review, and you get it or you don't get it. And I got it initially, and I went back to this year, met with Jim Nagy, the guy who runs the Senior Bowl. Ran into him. He said hello, blah blah blah. It's just a process, man. I've been doing this 3 years now, so
that's what's up, man.
I'm tired. I'm almost getting kind of tired of it, but it is what it is. I love my team, and I like the scouting portion of it more actually than actually watching the Niners games. I can't enjoy a Niner game anymore. It's just so frustrating. It's like, damn it, I know why this happened, and this is happening over here. It's like, all right, man, I'm done. Sometimes I shut the shit off and come back and watch it afterwards.
Well, when you see the angles, it's pretty clear that certain things ain't running right. It does fuck with you.
It's like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, Jesus.
That's true. I got a question. Why did Lenoir fall out of favor so quickly over Ambry from the Seattle game? Or what was the deal with that? Or was it because I
think it was the penalties in general, right? He got a lot.
From what I saw, Ambry was getting more penalties than what Lenoir was getting.
I thought Lenoir was getting more. I could be wrong.
I think the issue was his just actual coverage skills.
Mm-hmm.
It was more so being beat, and then angles. Like he just had bad angles. Mm-hmm. And those are things you got to work on, right? And then of course, where do you play him, right? If Norman can kind of, and I don't like Josh Norman, but for what he did.
Right,
enough to keep us, in
the game
situation where we're not getting.
He was the only one out there causing any fumbles. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he had like 8 and shit.
Do you think then that he couldn't be a candidate to take over for Shark when he leaves?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But I'm always looking at an upgrade. So if Roger McCreary is the guy, bring me Roger. Because I'd rather have a bigger, more physical guy, especially in the run game. Because most of football now is played in the nickel.
Right.
So if you got a guy like Roger McCreary is a little bit more, he got a little more weight in his ass and can, run defend better. Because K1, right? So I don't know how Lenoir is in run defense. I haven't seen it.
Right. And I got a question for Javi. So you had the firsthand footage or direct view of these guys. What about this receiver, Christian Watkins? He played with Trey Lance, right? What were your impressions of him? And what round would you see him possibly going in?
Christian Watson, he was faster than I anticipated. I was like, oh shit, right? Even in Inclement because it was raining the entire time. He had a really good release. He's got some good hands. I think the biggest thing that surprised me is how good of a run blocker he is. And we know how Kyle Shanahan is about run blocking.
He loves those run blockers. Yeah,
linebackers in the dirt, and I was like,
but can he run every route? That's the question for Kyle. That's Kyle's number one question.
When they do one-on-ones, they do like go ball, they do a 7, they'll do like a dig, they'll do an out. He ran all those pretty well. He's got good hands. He's strong at the point of attack. He's got good high point skills. He's a really good receiver. I think it would be smart if the Niners take a wide receiver this draft. If they can get him, I would think he's going at the back end of the second, beginning of the third, I would say. But Watson's a pretty good. He's a pretty good receiver. The other guy, Bo Melton, was another one that was out there that's pretty good. The tight end group was really good. Trey McBride was really good, and then of course those edge rushers, like I said, those edge rushing group was pretty stacked. I think I posted Watson stuff on
You
Twitter.
did, yeah. He posted something.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah, I need to watch some videos on them.
I can figure out a way.
You guys got the same shirt, all right?
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like rocking the lavish seal, you know what I'm saying?
You guys are matching, huh?
I would just like to come on and say,
what a coinky dink! What a coinky dink!
I'm very dedicated to the Gold Dirty Bastards. I have to wake up in 3 hours from my regular job, and I'm on here with Javi, and I can't pass this opportunity up. So, what's going on, yo?
What's up, buddy?
You missed it. What were your thoughts on Jimmy?
We shitted on Jimmy for the last 2 hours.
I missed that. My phone was glitching, and I couldn't really understand what was going on.
What's popping?
So So I want to say, how was that? Was that the first time you went to the Senior Bowl, Javi?
No, this is year 2. I was there last year.
Year 2.
I was there
during that must be cool as shit
stuff last year.
Yeah, that must be cool as shit.
It is cool. You run into a lot of people. Like I met Adam Kaplan. I met run into Mel Kiper and those guys that are out there.
Who the hell
is Mel Kiper? That's what we want.
You run into a lot of coaches. Ran into Quincy Avery, Trey Lance's quarterback coach. A lot of these college coaches are out there, so you run into them. I got to get on the field for a practice. My boy Jason, you guys know Jason Aponte. He was on the field for the game. Yeah. It's just stuff. It's pretty cool, man. I would never have thought starting a podcast would lead to that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? To where it's like you're getting credentialed, you're getting field passes to Niner games, you're getting access to players.
Look, we got to write your coattail. We got to get over there with you one of these days. We got to make it. Maybe we'll be part of the Javi podcast, and then we can put us in there.
It's fun because when you go, you meet a lot of people. No, we can. I'm here to help anybody. When you go down there, you meet so many. The connections are for real. Like I said, I met Khalil Shakir's agent, and he was like, I asked him, hey, can I get your player on my podcast? He's like, yeah, as long as you take all these other guys with you. I'm like,
sure thing.
Yeah, bro, shit, I'll take whoever you want.
For sure.
Whatever. It give me more access. Yeah, absolutely. So you make a lot of relationships, and for folks that are on Twitter, they're like, oh, you don't have this, you don't have that. There's a lot of things that people don't know because you have this kind of access, and it's really wild.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have never in a million years thought I would be at this point.
Hey, Twitter is crazy. I've been on there within the past few weeks. I've seen some of your.
That's the only social media this guy has. Go ahead.
I got on Naylor. I talked with Naylor. I told him to hop on the podcast. Naylor's cool.
Yeah, he's good people.
I go back and forth with him a little bit, but it's all fun. Like that's he's a good dude at the end of the day. I like that dude. So there's a lot of craziness going on between Niner fans, especially right now. My goodness.
Tom Brady, baby.
Yeah, that and we was talking about that earlier, especially like me and Nip were like, hey, if we can get him for a year, I could. But I don't know, is he still on the contract with the Bucks?
But I think they would hook him up, dude. They would sign off. I mean, he brought him a Super Bowl ring. When are they going to get another Super Bowl ring?
Yeah, I still think we.
And even with him, I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender anymore. I think that
if they get Jimmy, if they go get Jimmy, they might.
If they get Jimmy, they're not even making the playoffs.
Feels great, baby.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
That's what I said when they said Jimmy's going to be off the team. It feels great, baby.
Yeah. So the good part about that, I think I was even saying something too. Like, so we're going to get a whole lot of cap space for this. And what do you feel about that, Bosa? I mean, I know we're kind of all over the place now. What do you feel about Bosa potentially getting that?
Good job for bringing it up.
$30 million.
I think it's right on par. What is brother? So? His brother got 27, right? Yeah. His brother
TJ's at like 29, right?
Yeah, TJ got 29 and a half. So Bosa, you get 30. Bosa's going to get at least 31 at the very least. That's just market value, and that's people are like, oh, the number is so high, but that's just the market. The market was reset because of his brother, but Joey reset it. Myles Garrett got signed. No, it was Garrett, then Bosa, and then Watt, and Watt got almost 30. So shit, if Nick has another season the way he did next year, you better pay him now before you have to pay him more.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's the thing with like the Kittle. Remember when Kittle got signed and Fred got signed? Like people were like, "Oh, you could wait on Fred." No. You pay him now.
Yeah.
If he overperforms that year's worth of tag, then you're stuck paying him more a year from that. So you got to pay him early. If you can get Bosa and Debo signed now, you do it and don't even think twice about it.
You're gonna say I'm crazy, but if the right trade for draft capital came around, I would consider it.
Consider what?
Trading Bosa.
You're crazy.
Don't trade
2 firsts, 2/3.
I'll say
we traded Buckner. And we still made the
but Buckner was a reactionary move to not lose Ark, to lose our whole middle of our guys. You know what I'm saying? That's why they did that, because they knew they were going to get something for him. That's why they got rid of him. I think if he.
But Bosa has an injury history too, so we can't ignore that fact.
I mean, yeah, but you put that shit to rest for 2 years of killing him the way he done, bro. The man broke Haley's freaking sack record in less time. In you know what I'm saying, in the playoffs, dude. So
you don't trade a player like
nah. That's a generational talent, dog.
If there's anyone who's untouchable on this roster, it's Nick Bosa. Right? Nick Bosa, the Niners think about it. Did we forget what this team was looking for when they got here in 2017? They were looking for a pass rusher. Remember Cassius Marsh? We want to go back to those days?
That wasn't too long ago.
You want to have a bunch of Ronnie Blairs? You want to get a bunch of Ronnie Blairs? And cool, we get these first round picks from who? And what
about a Brian Burns? I mean, he was available at what, number 11, number 9?
But he's not Nick Bosa. They're not even the same.
He's not Nick Bosa. But you could have got a lot more trading back to evens out, you know?
No, you don't. Bro. Yeah, you don't trade Nick Bosa. Bosa is going to be here, and the thing. I guess my point here is the only way you would trade Nick Bosa is if you were guaranteed 2 number 1 overall picks.
You might get it. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Number 1. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Number 1 overall pick.
Okay, what about a team like the Jets? What about them? Salah might want to make something happen.
So then you give Salah Nick Bosa, a guy he's familiar with a quarterback that he likes, and the talent that they're starting to build. That cool. They give you let's just say they give you this year's number 2, whatever they're picking, right? They give you 3, and then you get next year. They would be better with Bosa. So that pick becomes what, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Then what?
Yep.
And then in this class, let's just say you trade him for someone in this class. Are you taking Kayvon Thibodeau? I wouldn't. Are you taking Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan? Absolutely not.
Question.
A lot of people are high on that dude. Are you not as high on
no,
Hutchinson as everyone? I think that's low. Yeah,
he's Nick Bosa light. He's not very good. He's not.
Chandler Jones is cool, but Chandler Jones ain't. Nah, dude.
Okay,
but about signing him. He's talking about signing him.
I would sign Chandler Jones if you could.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
Trade Kittle. He's injury prone too.
You can't trade Kittle because
I think he's just basically trolling right now, Doug.
That's his point. But okay, you might call me crazy, but say we pay him this $30 million, he gets fucking hurt. He gets hurt, and then we're gonna be singing a different tune.
That's the
risk. He's out for the year.
That's the risk you take. I mean, anybody that can happen to all of us, though, bro. I mean, it doesn't really, jive out with what you're.
But he's had 2 torn ACLs on opposite. Both ACLs have been torn already.
Are we willing to pay Deebo Samuel?
I would pay Deebo.
He's been injured.
Is he going to get $30 million though, Javi?
He was a whole offense, though.
It's position relative. He's going to get 25.
Yeah,
I would say pay Bosa 25.
You're not going to pay him under market value.
Yeah.
Can we put more in guaranteed?
He'll hold out just like his brother did, bro.
He'll get the guarantee. It's all about the average annual value. Think about what Trent Williams. Trent Williams literally got $10,000 more than David Bakhtiari.
Yeah,
that was it.
I'm not even high on Bakhtiari. I think they way overpaid for that dude.
Right, so then you're not gonna pay less than market value for Nick Bosa. It's just not gonna happen because you're not. Like, okay, cool. You don't want to pay me? Cool. You know who else? Someone will pay him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Somebody will. Yeah.
You don't trade a Nick Bosa because you're not gonna find another Nick Bosa, especially in this class or next year's class. Because next year's
let me give you one example. Khalil Mack. Raiders came back, bounced back pretty nice. They got Max Crosby now.
How many?
They got some picks out of that. I mean, they got one guy who did some stuff we don't want to talk about.
How many playoff games did they win?
Where were they though? Going into that? They weren't a playoff team already.
But what I'm saying to you is they traded all of that and got nothing out of it.
When we got Bosa, we weren't a playoff team when we got Bosa.
Exactly, we got Bosa, and what happens? We get to the Super Bowl the next year.
Right? We got that was rookie year.
They traded Mac. They traded Mac to Chicago. Chicago goes to the playoffs. They win a playoff game. Do you think the Raiders would have that playoff game, or Josh Jacobs, Abrams, who can't stay healthy, and Cleveland Farrell? None of those guys are any good.
But that was some poor drafting as well.
GM, that was kind of
again. But then we just got done talking about the Niners drafting in the first 2 rounds. Do we really trust them to make the right decision?
No,
that's a good.
Not first. Not first.
That is. I will 100% agree with Javi on that point.
Yeah, because they always.
Yeah, you're right. Forget it.
I say we should just trade all of our picks back into the 5th round and after, because that's, like I said, that's where all our gems come from, right? Like I wouldn't even. And you look at our first rounders. I mean, what the hell happened to Kinlaw? Like what?
I think Kinlaw will be fine. I have some faith he'll be fine.
I don't know.
I thought he was gonna have a solid year this year.
I'm not super hopeful, but I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt because this front office has shown to stick with guys who've had injury histories and they've kind of either leveled out or gotten better. So I'm gonna hold out a little bit of hope on Kinlaw. Plus, I liked him coming out. I thought he was a solid player. His injury, the only thing that bothered me,
he disappears a little bit too much though.
Because he's so heavy. Like I think that's another part of it that gets missed out on this. He's so heavy, he gets tired easy. So his technique is shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Remember when Armstead came in the league, he'd get so high and get washed out. He's learned to lower his pad level, and he's been a dominant force. Same thing with Buckner. Buckner had that issue too. He gets so high.
He really did. That's why I wasn't too high on Buckner. And then the last few years, I want to say the last 3 years, he's actually improved on that.
With these guys, you gotta let them 2-3 years work their way through the shit. Now with Kinlaw though, he's only played 1 year, and he played one fucking game this year against the Lions, and that was it. So it's just like, we got to see what happens there. So.
And that 1 year that he played, his rookie year, he didn't have a camp. Remember, because that was the right when Whistling started.
Yeah.
So that definitely affected his growth.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because I do remember hearing something about the scouts telling us to take a pass on him too, because his knee issue hadn't healed up completely.
Well, that was me and Womack who said not to take him, but yeah.
I didn't trust those.
I read that in the scouts. You know what I'm saying? So
I know. I'm just saying we said that shit too, trying to give ourselves a little bit of props, but we take what we can.
Give yourself the Barry Horowitz, bro.
We take some.
That,
but
sure.
I mean, like Javi says, give him a chance.
That's what it is.
He can get better.
I'm not going to write him off yet. I do still think that retaining DJ Jones to have as a proper backup and a proper spell guy would help a lot. I think it would have helped, almost in the same vein as not losing Kerry Hyder, which we did, and I would have liked to hold on to him, but that's something else.
Hot take: we win the Super Bowl if DJ Jones plays.
Huh?
I like DJ. If he can stay healthy, stay on the field, he's a force.
He's a fucking stud, dude.
He's good in the run game. He can generate that pass rush up the middle as well.
Pass rush is a little bit underrated for that dude too.
I think he's an unsung hero. I think the 2019 squad that we had in the D line room was ridiculously just awesome. I even liked Ronald Blair. I didn't like him handling business on his own, but when you brought in D Ford and you can use him as a spell, and you brought in Bosa, and look how much better I think, what was it? Before those guys both went down, they both accounted for 7 sacks between them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was Ronnie Blair and what's his name, right?
Ronnie Blair had like 4, then the other one had
DJ had like 3 or 4 himself, right? I mean, so it just goes to show how much better those guys were when they had all of each other feeding off each other, which looked pretty similar to what was going on this year.
Yeah.
I think he's not an expendable guy. I think you need to hold on to him majorly. And then if you do, you can invest in that, other bookend pass rusher without fear at all.
I hope they go pass rusher just to see the 49ers fan base.
At least on the edge, to make us fucking flip out, right?
Well, Mac, you were hating on Arden Key, by the way. I'm gonna keep pointing it out.
I wasn't hating on Arden Key. I just thought he was. I thought he was too small. Yeah, coming out. I just say he was too small. I thought he'd get pushed around in a little manhandle a little bit just because of the size.
I said he would.
Yeah, he gained weight.
I will say that this 2021 pass rush group. Overall, the entire was better than the 2019 room.
Oh, wow. Shit. Okay.
That's a lot.
I guess what I'm saying is, remember, at the end of the year, we had Anthony Zettel rushing the pass.
Yeah, that's right.
We had, what's his face? Moore rushing the passer. This year, we had Ibuka, Arden Key, Jordan Menahue. Like, those 4 guys.
That guy was a good pickup. That was a nice trade. That was a nice trade.
Then you got DJ. You got Armstead. You got Bosa. You got
I'd say the other edge is probably something that we probably need, because we need that pressure from, because remember that 2019, like, we had Bosa on the edge, but when D4 was in there, that's what I'm saying.
D4 was a beast when he
got most of them sacks, and then as soon as D4 went out, I mean, the production drop off as far as
there's no
only pass rush, but sack wise just kind of fell off as soon as D4 went out, because you could double team baby Bosa, you could double team a Buckner at that, you know what I'm saying?
So is there no faith in Omenihue and or Abukum picking up that role and actually running with it? Because Omenihue was definitely an invisible man for most of the year.
He had
Abukum. Abukum was an invisible man for most of the year.
And then he got hot, and then because they gave him a role, right? So of course I think the Niners want to use Amenahue and Ibukum as their like team 2, like their
a
team.
platoon.
Yeah, like those are 2 edge guys for their third, the early downs, first down, shit like that. So that way you get Bosa in there because you don't want Bosa going over 55% of the snaps because
he'll wear. Yeah, he starts to wear a little bit,
down, and that's just normal. Yeah. That's normal shit, right? You got a guy out there 60, 70 snaps. If you can cut that in half because you have a viable guy like a Amenahue or Bukum to take his spot, and yeah, you do that. But I'm still all about drafting another edge rusher if they can.
Yeah, for sure, totally.
Oh yes,
this edge class is deep.
Oh yes,
4th round. Yeah, we could get a 4th round.
You can get a guy in the 4th round. You get a guy in the 3rd round.
We've got 3 third rounders.
Yeah, we got 2.
2, right? 2. The other one's next year.
Okay, that's right, because that was part of the trade, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
so,
that's right.
Like depending on what we get for Jimmy Garoppolo, which we haven't talked on yet, but let's just say
I got wings on 2, so let's just say he gets a 2nd rounder.
I think we're gonna get I think we get an early 3rd round pick.
Thank you, and I'll be getting my wings off that.
You get a 3rd round. Think about it. You let's just say you get pick 61, and then you're picking again at 80, and then you got 93. Safety, center, edge, boom. You got it all right in one shot, and then you can start filling in the rest of the roster with the other 6 picks, and then you start because they got 41 free agents. You're not bringing everybody back.
Yeah,
you're not. You're just not going to.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
But I wouldn't be surprised they got a 2nd. But I'm going to lean more they get a 3rd.
Yeah, I would say I put my wings on the 3rd, Womack, and I want lemon pepper and give me some barbecue, half lemon pepper.
You gonna get wings? You gonna do that?
It's hard. So Womack's whole point of view was that there's a team out there, and
someone's gonna get desperate.
There may be. There could be
free agents. Someone's gonna look at the free agents and be like, "Nah."
I think that really, really comes to fruition if it's totally true that Russ and Aaron don't go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So then I would see it going up to a 2nd rounder. I mean, we also said what happened with Darnold. Darnold, thank you. The fact that he got 3 picks, they weren't 1st round, but it was a 2nd. It was like a 4th and a 6th, something like that. And Jimmy, let's be honest,
Jimmy's 30 though. He's not Darnold,
30, but he's also entering what should be his quarterback prime. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that he can bring leadership and a steady guy in the pocket, at least in the huddle, you know what I'm saying? Then I see somebody using him as a stopgap and somebody overpaying.
The 30 and the injuries, though, that's going to be. I think that's going to be a deciding factor in a 3rd rounder.
It could be. I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm not going to argue with that too much. But what I will say is they're going to also look at what the body of work that he put together while he was in there. Somebody's going to say, well, a lot of that was scheme, or a lot of that was
somebody would be me.
Defense, or a lot of that was this or that. True. You know what I mean? So I hear that. But at the same time, I'm going to say somebody's going to definitely go look at him and be like, well, when he's in there, he wins. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how it's done.
Yeah, I think Sell's on the right track and Womack's on the right track. The other part of that is, you said it, was it scheme or was it Garoppolo? Like Benjamin Solak wrote a really good piece.
Right,
he said,
right.
Whoever trades for Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get Jimmy Garoppolo, not Kyle Shanahan, right? Like that's what you're getting. But the other part of this is, like, let's look at a team like Pittsburgh, right? They just made the playoffs. Mike Tomlin never had a losing season. Are they going to value a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo more than, let's just say, a Malik Willis in the draft? Or
I don't think so.
Pickett, right? They might, and the reason I say that they might is because
they don't have one on their roster already.
Right. They don't have one on their roster. They don't have a quarterback on their roster. Will they want to win 9-10 games or 8-9-10 games? Right. That just to stay level while they try to find the guy for the future. And this is where
quarterback play.
Yeah, and Jimmy Garoppolo is entering in the. To me, I don't think he's entering the prime of his career. I think he's entering the Andy Dalton, the Ryan Fitzpatrick tier of quarterback, to where he's going to be this transition, this bridge to the next guy, right? Because with Jimmy Garoppolo, we know what he is, and the Niners told you what they thought of him, to the point that, hey, we're going to move heaven and earth to get rid of this guy. So another team's going to look at him and be like, okay, cool, we can win some games with this guy. But ultimately, he's not going to get us over the hump. But he can keep us relevant enough to keep us within pick 12 and 20, which gives us the flexibility to move up in the draft to go get a guy in the future. Now, this quarterback draft stinks.
That was my question to you, Javi. Like, how do you, even at the Senior Bowl, like, how would you even evaluate
I watched the half
thing?
And I seen enough out of that QB.
I didn't think any of those guys was a top 15 pick.
Yeah, see, so
Pickett will probably go like what 20,
and that's what I said. There was one dude. Sorry, I don't mean to cut anyone off, but there was one dude that I thought was Desmond Ridder, who I thought would actually be somewhat decent. I thought he was going to come out last year, and I was like, look, we probably can get this dude maybe in the third or fourth, and I would have passed up Trey Lance and maybe get someone like Desmond Ridder, but he never came out. But I don't know how he's looking this year.
So he wasn't very good either. That was
this year,
yeah, and even that Alabama game kind of exposed him a little bit. Obviously, when you're playing Alabama, but he just doesn't have it. You can just see it.
Yeah. So,
but then to the other point about what Sal said, what happens with Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson? If those two guys stay put, then Jimmy Garoppolo becomes quarterback one.
Yep.
In the pecking order, right? What does Denver do? Are they going to bring back Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock? Probably not. What does Miami do with Tua? Right? Do they really like him? What's Washington going to do with Heineke and whoever the fuck else they got?
Heineke trash, huh?
Right, and I think Houston's comfortable with Davis Mills. I think Davis Mills can be a pretty good quarterback.
I told you,
I'd be solid.
He'd be pretty good. So Jimmy, so then your price, the market's going to adjust. It's going to price up. So the Niners were smart to do what they did when they did it. They traded all that capital to get Trey, and if Trey is the right guy, then they hit a home run. But also, they did it right because they knew this next class was not very good.
Trey, and I said, see, remember, and I mentioned that.
No. Let's get this straight. You wanted us to wait and get a quarterback this year. Don't you trying to pull no bullshit. You ain't pulling no sheet over my head. You ain't pulling no sheet over my head.
No.
I can pull up the episode right now, buddy.
There this dude goes.
All right, guys.
There this guy.
Go ahead. I'm not going to interrupt like you do.
We have a guest today, all right? Let's behave, guys. We have a guest. We have a guest, guys.
This is the most fun I've had in a while because most of the other stuff I have to be like super serious and shit.
No, dude, not on here. Trust me. You can be who you want to be on here.
That's why we're the dirty bastards.
That's why we're the gold dirty bastards.
I live in Texas, so I work with a bunch of Cowboy fans, bro. It's
Oh my God, you poor man.
Yeah. Did they get that memo from the NFL saying that because of these the Super Bowl home games that we're gonna have to play in Dallas? I was laughing my ass off on that shit. I can't even lie. That was awesome. That was the best.
A buddy of mine, we went to the game. Buddy of mine, he's a Cowboy fan. Before we went into the stadium, I go, what do you want to bet on this game? He's like, let's bet a jersey. I'm like, all right, bet.
I seen that was a nice jersey.
So he was like, what do you want? I go, if I win, I want a Steve Young throwback. He's like, all right, if I win, I want an Emmett throwback. I'm like, deal, no problem. Man, that shit came in yesterday. He had to walk into the store with it. And he had to give it to me. Like, the look on his face, bro, I was like, the look on his face was better than me actually getting the jersey.
It was gold.
Yeah, I was like, beautiful. So, yeah, no. I'm just, part of me is kind of excited for next year, though.
I am. I'm juiced. Hell yeah.
Like, I didn't come into this season excited because I was like, man, sorry, Womack. I was like,
fuck. I know. It's all right.
Jimmy's going to fuck this up. I had a feeling he's going to fuck this up.
I said it on the podcast about 30 times.
Now I'm excited because, I think Steve Young said it best. He goes, look, with Trey Lance, you're starting at a 2, and hopefully he gets to the 10. And as fans, like all of us, we're going to get to see that progress. Go from 2 to 10. Now, hopefully he gets to 10. But even if he gets to 8, that's still better than what we have had in the last fucking 10, 15 years if he becomes that kind of player. And that's what's exciting to me is to watch this guy develop. And hopefully Kyle and Lance have like this fucking perfect marriage. And we get a bunch of playoff wins. I just need one title. Just give me one title.
At least one. Yeah, just put us in the 6, right? Yeah.
And part of give me that damn 6.
And I don't even need it next year. Like, just give me one. Just make it happen. To me, for Kyle Shanahan to be successful, right, for next year, just have back-to-back winning seasons and make sure Trey, cracks 4,000 yards passing. 4,000 yards passing and over 25 touchdowns passing. I will be a happy fan.
I mean, I could see it for sure. And this is the thing. So I was watching that Texas game, and this is one of the things that I said. I think I was even on I think I tweeted on Jack Hammer's thing because I know he was saying something about that give him the Jimmy offense, give Trey the Jimmy offense. And I was like, look, after watching that Texas play against the Texans was it was the bootleg. You remember the bootleg that he threw to Mitchell? Okay, so the thing about that play was there must have been at least 2 or 3 motions, I think, on that play before pre-snap, right? I think it was like 2 motions before. But then you add Trey's mobility, and I think he did a fake, and then he ran. So what I'm excited about is just kind of all the moving parts. Yeah, I mean, our offense already had moving parts enough as it was. We had like the most pre-snap motion like in the NFL. But then you add someone mobile like Lance, who would just put that pre-motion and all that, all those moving parts. Like defense is not going to know what the hell to do, honestly. And if Kyle doesn't,
and we only had a healthy offense around him that Texans game. He didn't have a Kittle that Cardinal game.
But I'm saying,
I'm not mistaken.
No, yeah, I mean, I think you're right on that. But what I'm saying is just the point of all the moving parts, the misdirections, and doing all this. Like no one's going to be able to know who the hell to cover and where the hell to go, especially with a mobile quarterback like Lance. So I think that's probably
11-on-11 football, and that's the dream.
And I think that's probably one of the most things that I'm excited about as far as like Lance getting in there, like a mobile quarterback with a good arm. It's cool. Now whether Kyle can unleash that, I still don't know if Kyle even uses dude right to where he could. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's one of the things I'm excited about, just the dynamic of the offense and just pre-snap. Because if you get all that shit together, dude, like trust me, like everyone's head's gonna be fucking spinning, and no one's gonna know what to do, and it's just gonna open everything up. So that's one of the things I'm really excited about is just the scheme with Lance. If
11-on-11 football is exciting because then you have, you're playing the RPO game, the zone read game. You have so many options.
Opens up the whole. They have to cover the whole field. Yep. They have to cover the whole field.
And this is kind of why I hope they bring in Tyrod Taylor. I hope
that would be nice.
That'd be a good backup for him.
Yeah. Anthony Lynn already has experience with him as well.
Yep.
So you want to have this you want to me
the skill set.
To me, what Kyle Shanahan did with the Anthony Lynn thing showed me as a fan that he's 100% committed to the development of Trey Lance.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Because that guy is a run game schemer, right? Him and Mike McDaniels are, I would say Lynn is probably more experienced
because he was running back, so
he's a running back, so he would know what to look for. So I'm gonna trust that Kyle is committed to this fully with Trey. Now the next question is who is the quarterback coach going into this year, and then what do they do as special teams coach? So we'll see how that goes. But I look forward to seeing Trey's development throughout the next 3-4 years. Hopefully it's a lot longer than 3 to 4 years because I'm tired of having every 5 years of changing a fucking quarterback. Like, let's have this guy be here.
We haven't had an elite quarterback since when?
Steve
Young.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff was good for as long as he was
okay.
For as long as he was good.
He was good. Yeah.
I wouldn't even say
we had nobody on that level.
He was about the par with Jimmy.
I give him a little more than Jimmy.
I give him more than Jimmy. Absolutely.
Yeah. Give him a little more.
Oh, no, he was a tight end.
He
running
threw them
back,
picks
dude.
too, though, against the Packers.
Yeah, but he wasn't afraid to take
picks.
off out the pocket when he needed to. You know what I mean? And
I did like that. I like the mobility.
He could read a lot better than Jimmy could.
Jeff gets all the love from me because of that Giants playoff game.
Come back. See, that's another thing about.
Look at the scoreboard.
I have that game on tape. You know that anyone wants that game, I have it on tape.
That's some fucking
VHS.
So
hold on, real quick. Let me just. I just want to say sorry. We can't get to all these comments. It's hard with a panel of 5 tonight. Everybody's got some takes.
His fans.
Yeah, Javi got it. Javi got it popping up in here.
He's like 3 or 4. He's getting like fucking 100 people.
Usually we get to everything, but it's just everybody got takes tonight.
Yeah. Make sure you subscribe too.
Oh yeah, make sure you like and subscribe. One quick comment. Fuck the Rams. I agree.
Hit the like button. The like button helps the algorithms. Helps y'all out.
Yeah.
Definitely hit the like button. Hit every button that you see on our fucking YouTube. Just hit that.
Don't hit the dislike.
Don't hit unsubscribe. Yeah. Don't hit that.
Don't hit subscribe or dislike. That's right.
Don't hit the unsubscribe.
All right, you guys want to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl before we get out of here, or did you want to keep going some more? I'll leave it up to y'all.
No, I gotta get out of here because I'm dedicated to the show, but I gotta run on 3 hours of sleep. And like I said, I only came on because Javi was on here, and I had to show my respect.
And you had to show your face because you couldn't be ducking all 2 weeks.
Shows how much he really thinks about the rest of us.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yeah. Screw you guys. I'm tired of you guys.
Fuck you, man.
This is the.
He's like Nip told me about Jimmy G 50 times this year.
Yeah, look. Honestly,
if you see my comments on my podcast, I was like, I know who this guy is right now.
You can't hide, Womack. We know exactly who the fuck you are.
You know who I am for sure. I would like to say is I don't know if we would have maybe not gotten the championship with Lance, but whatever.
I'm happy
he's here for the ride now.
Like I think we can all say that we were happy that they got there. You know what I'm saying? After the way the season started.
No one expected us to be there. They thought we
all did.
The last game against the we did, but I mean,
we're
in general,
though.
I didn't.
I
did not.
Look, we
we're
weren't
couch
supposed to beat the
GMs,
Cowboys.
halfway couch GMs.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to beat the Cowboys. We definitely weren't supposed to beat the Packers.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Sure,
we beat the Cowboys.
That was easy.
I think we should have been. These the greater community was looking down. Number one offense.
The rest of the nation.
I cashed out on some of those. I'm gonna say those
bank on
them
that
point spreads.
I put $1,000 on the money line.
You seen? I put the money line on both them games. Want a little something nice. Couple parlays.
Yeah.
That was easy money. Those that Packers
we all
game.
knew that was gonna happen.
The Packers game and the Cowboys game was easy money.
Yeah, me and wifey went and got something.
You lying if you weren't nervous.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh okay, of course, yeah, I was definitely
I was
nervous.
talking shit.
But when I see those lines, I was like,
the lines are good.
I was like, I don't even want the points. I don't need the points. I'll take the money line on these two.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Sel. What were you saying?
Me and wifey went and got something to eat up in Oakland at Brenda's, and our server, it was some kid. He was actually from Cleveland, but he was a Niner fan, and he was like, he saw us come in with our shit on, you know what I mean? Oh, you got Niner out. Love you guys, man. I loved you guys since I was in Cleveland, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, you're not a dog? You're not a dog pound kind of guy? He was like, why would I be? I'm not into, hurting myself and shit, you know what I mean? It's something like that. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was a pretty damn funny one. But he ended up winning $500 on the Packer game. You know what I mean? So, we had a lot of happy people out there.
And I said we had that shit against Rodgers. We had that mystique on beating Rodgers. If y'all didn't want to believe me, dude.
You can't beat him.
You said that when we lost them. What you talking about? You said that week 3.
Yeah, but
we got that on tape too, buddy.
But look what he had to do in week 3. He had to freaking pull off a miracle to fucking beat us. We had that game.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't a miracle. It was just bad defensive scheme.
All right, well, man, you gotta go to sleep.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
All right, see y'all. I'll see y'all.
Good night.
Thanks for showing us love, Javi.
Yeah, of course.
GDPs for life. I'm out of here. Well, I got kids sleeping, man. I can't be wild.
CTFO.
All right, y'all. Peace out.
Later.
Night.
At least he showed up.
I had a question for one of the I can't remember. I think it was The Athletic or somebody that floated it out there, but I read it earlier. So trying to link us to Aaron. Do you think that's even feasible?
What will we offer?
I didn't know what it was. But it was
aside from Bosa, I don't think we have anything they'd want.
They would
I can't remember what the package was, but somebody floated it out there.
You would have Lance would probably be involved. Like you'd have to give up Lance,
right?
Some picks. But to me, it's not feasible because I think it's not feasible more so because of the Packers' dead cap money. It's like
what's he do to make? What's Rodgers do?
$50 million in dead cap if they traded him. So I don't think he's leaving Green Bay. Now, if he leaves Green Bay,
neither.
The only place that really makes sense,
Pittsburgh, Broncos.
Yeah.
Raiders.
Now with Pittsburgh, when is Pittsburgh
AFC
going to be that aggressive to do something like that? That's just not their nature. Denver, on the other hand, is the one that probably make a lot of sense because you can give up 2 first-round picks, Jerry Jeudy, Nick Chubb, and probably breaks even.
That's right. QBs go to die too. They just
maybe Eric Stokes because Eric Stokes is probably the best corner in this rookie class that came out last year. But yeah, I don't see the Niners finding a way to get Aaron Rodgers. If they wanted to do it, they should have did it last year.
They tried, right?
It didn't work out.
The Packers shot it down because they're not going to trade him in conference to us. They would make no sense to them.
That's career
ship him to AFC.
Yeah.
That's LaFleur career suicide and Gutekunst's like, let's go ship him to Kyle Shanahan. By the way, the guy who kicked our ass fucking 4 times. No, why? No, it doesn't make any sense. But
I would love it.
The NFL's how would he get gone in the first place? It's the only way he's out is on a trade.
That's it.
They supposedly made a deal with him that they would try to get him a trade after he played for him this year. That's what my understanding of it.
That's what
I thought he could force his way out. I thought he could force. I didn't.
I think it was kind of a mutual deal. He kind of agreed to stop bullshitting in the offseason this year, coming in, and they would get him a proper send off to a team. I don't think they would give him his choice of team, but I think they would let him go to the AFC. I don't think he's going NFC. I don't see any way he goes to an NFC team. That makes no sense. Brady, on the other hand, could happen because he's older.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe a shit haul of draft picks that could get that done in the AFC thing, but they would definitely hurt their own cause by keeping them in the conference.
Aaron Rodgers' dead cap is $27.8 million.
That's more than what we owe Jimmy, period.
No, Correct. It's about the same, right? 28 for Jimmy?
No, 26, 27, something like that, I think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's possible if we traded Jimmy, we could do it, but we don't have anything to offer back is the thing. No. And then it goes back to the interconference, and we just faced them in the playoffs a couple years in a row.
Yeah, I never thought it was really truly possible, but it sounded like, shit, I mean, if quarterbacks would do whatever the hell they want nowadays, is pretty much force themselves out of wherever the hell they want.
Yeah, and then the other part is you have the $27 million in negative. It'd be negative money for the Packers. Then you got to add Jimmy's 26 or whatever they do.
Right. Exactly.
Why would LaFleur?
What about like a sign and trade?
Well, like the question becomes, why would LaFleur take Jimmy Garoppolo when he just had Aaron Rodgers?
Exactly.
That's going from a Maserati to.
I would take Love over Jimmy right now.
To a damn Prius.
I don't even think Love's any good. So that's another
question here. Has a little weight to it. What do you guys think of the Murray thing when he pulled Cardinals up off of his Instagram and all that?
Posturing.
That team's a mess.
Yeah,
I think it's more posturing. He's trying to get some money.
Yeah,
part of it. There were some comments said during the season from Larry Fitzgerald and Carson Palmer about Kyler Murray and his maturity, Kyler Murray and his ability as a leader. And Carson Palmer and Fitzgerald basically said Kyler's not a franchise quarterback. So that could be part of the issue, right? And then we saw the collapse of them back on the back end of the season, where they 1-6 to finish the season or something like that.
Yeah.
But they did lose Hopkins for a lot of those games, I will say.
That's true. But even when they got him back, they weren't playing good football. And part of that is Cliff's pretty bad. But I was never into the hype of Kyler Murray. Like, bro, he's 5'9". He's not going to be able to last a full 17-game season.
He's another foodie.
But he gets so banged up, and you can see it. Like, he's hurting from something. Like, I think he broke his ribs this year, right? And then he had a shoulder issue. Like, he's going to continuously get banged up. And
his ankle, yeah.
He's not always the most accurate to it either.
Yeah, if I'm Tampa, and you're going to get rid of Tom, or Tom's not coming back, just call on Kyler and have 2 years of him while you kind of readjust. Like, I would do that. Like, I don't.
Do you think the issue with him sometimes also beyond the injuries is the fact that he knows that he could go right over to MLB and have a career and get signed?
I don't think that's
I lived in Oklahoma. I lived in Oklahoma for 7 years.
Right.
This notion that he was like some high-powered baseball player is not really that true. Like, he's a really good base runner. Like, that was obviously because he fucking
and he's hella fast.
What was he, a shortstop? He was a shortstop, right?
Yeah, I think he played shortstop. Like, he wasn't the greatest defensive player. He had a decent bat, but he's a really good base runner. So that was his value.
Speed,
but if you watch baseball, like the guys that come out of college, right? They go through AA, then AAA, right? And then they're gonna sit there for fucking 2-3 years, and they gotta deal with arbitration. Before you know it, he's not making any money.
Right.
Like I'm a Yankees fan, right? Look at Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge hasn't been paid yet. Like, he's been in league fucking 7 years. So I don't think he'd go back to baseball. I don't think he'd go to baseball, period. I think he would just I think he's just gonna flame out of the NFL. Like, depending on the situation, he can go into the right spot and make things happen. But I think it's fair to say that Cliff Kingsbury isn't very good, and that Kyler needs a better system. Like, you can run air raid all you want, but if you're gonna run air raid, you're asking your guy to take a lot of hits too. He took a lot of hits. Get him into something that is 3, 4, 5 step drops. Get the ball out of his hands quickly. Don't let him get hit as much. Maybe stop running him so often. Like, those things need to change for a guy like Kyler Murray. Like, bro, he's 5'10". He's like 195.
I don't think he's that. I think he's like 5'8".
And that's generous, exactly, because we've known that you get the NFL inch. You know what I'm saying, at the combine a lot of times.
And that pick he threw against the Rams, one of the worst picks I've ever seen. That little sidearm toss bullshit.
Oh, at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, what was that, dude?
At the 5.
Yeah, and I think the great GM here he said Kingsbury had Mahomes in college, and he still struggled. Part of that is too Big 12 football. Texas Tech can't compete with Texas or OU, but even still,
never has.
You just can't win in that conference when you don't have the recruiting either. But in the NFL, you can see, let's just say think about 2019, the 2 Niner games against Arizona. Like the Niners were up. It's a close game on Halloween. Kyle right, and then the Niners were down 16-0. Niners came back and won that game. Like Cliff's just not a good coach. I think we have to have that conversation. Not we, but the league needs to have that conversation that this guy may not be really good. So,
yeah, he has like I think the last 5 seasons with him and being Arizona and then at Texas Tech, I believe the record for the last 7 or 8 games were like 1-6, 1-7, back those straight 5 years. So he doesn't know how to close the seasons. And when he was at Texas Tech and now Arizona, so I seen that stat too. He straight sucks.
Right. Track record shows it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else we want to get to?
Maybe just a quick pick. Who you got in the Super Bowl? No.
Sure.
I say the Rams.
You going Rams?
They covered by 4 too. I think.
I'm gonna take Bengals.
I think it's -4.
I think the Bengals offense can score on the Rams. They got three good receivers. You got Boyd too, and Uzma he appears to be healthy enough to play. Mm-hmm. So I think with Mixon, they stay committed to the running game even if they get down. They did against the Chiefs. They were down both games and they beat the Chiefs both times. Mm-hmm. Defense ain't great, but I think they have enough to shoot it out. They have the offensive weaponry to be able to shoot it out with the Rams and still stay committed enough to the run. Would it even be an upset that much? It wouldn't be that big of an upset. There's not that huge of a gap. The big difference is the Rams have the home field advantage. But right now, who would you take a quarterback? Would you take Burrow or would you take Stafford?
Burrow.
I think I might take Burrow.
All day.
I mean, if you look at their stats this season, I think Burrow has, as far as picks and TDs, I think Burrow might have the slight edge, no?
I think Stafford does.
You think so?
I would still take Stafford.
You would take Stafford? You like that vet?
Stafford's just a little bit more physically gifted at the end of the day. Like,
I mean, I could think, Burrow's still in year 2 and coming from the injury.
He's gonna be He's gonna be good, but if I for one game, I would probably take Stafford.
Yeah,
but I'm leaning Bengals in this game because I don't trust Raheem Morris to have 2 really good, solid defensive efforts. Mm-hmm. Right, and I don't think home field advantage is actually a thing here. I think this might be a disadvantage for the Rams.
That is true too. I've seen that the rallies
home, right? Like, and it's not even the fan stuff. I'm talking about like the players. Like you don't. It's just you're treating it like a regular home game. The Bengals are treating it like the Super Bowl. Like they're leaving Natty. They have to. They got to go practice in LA. They're on a different schedule. They're away from their distractions. Whereas these guys in LA, LA's a distraction. You got all your family in town, family staying with you because it's local, right? Yeah. All these other distractions around you. I think the Bengals might pull this out. I think they might pull it out by 6+.
The great JM says this. I just want to say he's taking the Rams, and he's saying that the Titans, they gave a bunch of sacks to the Titans, and what do you think, Von Miller, Aaron Donald? True, but if you look at the Bengals' record, go back and look. They actually have the better resume. They beat the Chiefs twice. Who have the Rams really beat? They beat us, but they lost to us twice. They beat the Cardinals, who were kind of like flash in the pan.
They beat Tampa Bay at the beginning of the year.
Tampa was a little overrated, coming off the Super Bowl.
Who else?
Let's not also forget that they won that game. He got sacked 9 times, but they won that game. So
good point.
Yeah, that was the reason because they since he started 3 and start putting everybody back, and that's what was fucking up Mahomes. But I mean.
I looked at the Bengals record a couple weeks ago, and I was like pretty impressed. They had some pretty solid, and they played us really good as well. So I think the Bengals are fucking legit, man. I mean, me and Leo talked about it. We said they would be dangerous this year. I didn't say they were going to go to the Super Bowl, but I said they're a team to be on the lookout for.
Yeah.
And somebody said, I don't know if it was either Cello or Womack said it was a year away. I think it was Womack.
I said a year or 2 away.
A year or 2 away.
Yeah.
That made sense.
Yeah.
But you see that Burrow is getting it done, and they drafted perfectly. You get a franchise QB, you get them weapons. They got Jamar Chase, they got T. Higgins, they already had Tyler Boyd, they got the tight end, they already had Mixon. Now they need to work on O-line next year. If they get O-line, they're gonna be scary. Yeah. They get some O-line. But yeah, for this game, I think they could stay away from Jalen Ramsey, and I think they could exploit the other side of the field, and they can run on the Rams. The Rams, we've shown you can run on the Rams. You can, especially with Burrow. They're not going to be able to load the box like they do with us. Because if they do that, Jamar Chase going over the top all day.
Nope. They know how to run their scheme. Burrow right now would be even more of a beast of a man had he not lost that year from the injury.
Yeah.
I gotta say that I think that really focused him and locked him in to being a better quarterback and to develop better this year. I mean, this is very difficult for me to be. Man, you look. Put it this way: you don't want to lose to the runner-up. You know what I'm saying? That's not what you want to lose to. You want to lose to the champ. You're gonna lose to anybody. You want to lose to the champ. Let's be honest, because that's the fucking champ. You know what I'm saying? So saying that,
but we beat them both, so I don't got no problem with who wins.
No, I get you on that, but still, you for all the marbles, you don't want to lose to the runner-up because that just makes you feel like, damn, what could have happened had I been in that game? It's the same shit we talk about all the time when we talk about how the Giants and fucking Williams and them fumbles, and you know what I'm saying, we would have ate Brady alive in that damn Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So it always comes back to that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's because I'm a loyalist, and I don't give a shit. I can't root for the fucking Rams. Fuck that. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to go with the Bengals on this one. You know what I mean? I think, what I'm saying, we did them a solid. They're going to get up in there, and they're going to get their ring. I think they're going to get their ring. Man, let's be honest, 34-31. Simpsons called it. Simpsons called it, bro.
No, that was BS. They said that shit was fake.
That's horse shit. That's real. It was there. All right. I don't want to hear nothing else about it. All right. Don't fuck around and wreck me here. I don't give a shit.
Watching too many.
Stop it. Let me live with the blue pill. Okay.
I'm gonna let you live with the blue pill, Cello. All right. I'm gonna let you live. I think we're gonna get a high scoring game though as well.
Ooh, I don't know.
You don't think so?
Nah, I don't see it.
I think it could be one of those like first quarter low scoring, then next 3 quarters they just blow up.
It'll be like
we haven't had a Super Bowl under in a while either. I think it's been 3 or 4 years. I mean over. So I think we're due. I think we're due for that over.
I would say like 24-17 Rams or something like that.
Really?
They cover.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Simpsons 34-31 Bengals.
Let's go.
All right, All right. So I'm the only one taking the Rams. All right. And I hate that. I mean, I don't give a fuck. But same old sorry Rams, I don't give a fuck. It would have been nice to beat Cincy 3 times in the Super Bowl, though. That would have been nice.
We matched up pretty good against them, too.
That would have been nice.
I mean, you see we beat them in Cincy. I don't think we were at full strength at that point either.
Mm-hmm. They also shot themselves in the foot I don't know how many times.
Mm-hmm.
But,
we got real lucky that game.
Yeah. So I just, hopefully they come with their A game. And they smoke
21 Bengals. Yeah.
They smoke Jalen Ramsey for like 200 yards. You know what I mean, on 10 targets. You know what I'm saying? That would be very beautiful. I don't think they can run that 8 in the box against them, like you said already. Burrow and Chase just have too much. They're like the greatest 1-2 punches. Out there that what I'm saying, bringing us back to them old days of Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning. Rice in Montana. Well, I mean, it's a little early for that, but you know what I mean. It's in that mold. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean. So that these guys their chemistry is ridiculous. So they try to pull that shit. I see a slant down the up the sideline, or up in the middle of the field and then gone. There's a lot of shit that they can do to these guys because let's be honest, Eric Weddle didn't really do too much since he's been back. Maybe he catches fire. Maybe he just gets smoked.
He stuffed us on 3rd and 2 on that damn Trent play.
Yeah, that was some more horse shit, though. You know what I mean? That was.
I don't know why they had Sherfield trying to block Weddle, but that's a whole nother story.
Exactly, but
here we go back to the Niners.
Yeah, always back to the Niners. So I don't know. It would be nice to see a whole lot of that going on. You know what I mean? Just a lot of over the top action. You got 2 guys that could do it, though. You know what I mean? It just might be a pass happy ass game. You know what I mean? Since he might come out and say 3-step drop all day. You know what I mean? They might try to do the running gun too. Might
screen game him to death.
And I would say that I think the Chiefs have a better offense than the Rams, and they took care of them twice.
Yeah.
They did a number on Mahomes in that second half and the overtime. I mean, I've never seen him play. Well, since we played him 3 quarters, I've never seen him.
Simmons.
It was a complete 180, and that's totally uncharacteristic of Pat. You know, so you got to give their defense a little bit of props. You know what I mean? They came to play, and you know that's what we always see every year. These the defense that's completely counted out. It's all offense, and then boom, they show up for a game, champions. You know what I mean? So let's hope that works this time around. You know, because it would be so great to see them walking out of there. You know what I mean? Onto the LA streets, into the middle of Inglewood, and you know. Rams just, you know, damn, we had it, you know what I mean? And now we don't, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that's Cincinnati's house now, Chief. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Great JM. Don't forget about my boy Higgins. I'm a big Higgins guy.
Yeah, that's right.
You're gonna be there too. You're gonna have to cover him.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. Right on, Javi, for coming on. Let them know where to find you. All your great content.
Yeah, you just look for me on Twitter at Javier Vega _ and then the podcast is at 4th and Gold Podcast. There is an IG page at 4th and Gold Podcast over there as well. Just check us out, man. We got more content coming. I got a lot of draft guys. I got a lot of prospect coming on the show in the next week or two. So we'll try to get you as much draft content as possible. I know there's a lot of folks who enjoy that stuff. So
it's nice to have you back.
Yeah, I will. I'm shit. As long as I have the time, man. My work. We've been trying to do this for the whole season, right, Nip? The whole season.
Yeah, we've been. I think, pretty much the whole damn year.
Well, it took us 2 weeks to get this last episode in, so that
you know, we can't even get. That's what I was saying. We have trouble getting our own roster healthy and ready to go. We ain't put together 4 quarters yet. Still got our best shit, but yeah, man, it was dope having you on. Great insight,
Thank you.
Great stats, the experience of the Senior Bowl. That's always been a dream of mine to go there. Shit, I love that shit. I love the draft. Me and Womack, we are always into the draft. Cello too. We've had conversations about drafting, and you know it's one of our things. A lot of the Niner fans, they're rah. You know, we have a lot of homers that don't understand the game. So I love having conversations with Niner fans who are unbiased. You know, I get it. We all want to root for the Niners, but at the same time, like you mentioned, the GMs are heartless. You have to look at players through a certain perspective. You have to. It's a business. Yeah. So I got no problem seeing Jimmy walk. A lot of people are heartbroken over the females. They love him. Whatever. I'm like deuces. Exactly. You know, you gotta.
He helped us out of a tough spot. You know what I mean? He'll always have my respect.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that, you know what I mean? But he did always, unfortunately, leave something to be desired. And that's I think what his narrative is going to be throughout his, you know, when you think about his history here. Yeah. But I'm gonna be upfront and be, for once, say I'm glad we had him, because if we didn't, you know, Mullins and Beathard and, you know, and fucking Gabbert, and you know,
we would have got Cousins if we didn't have him.
Dark days, you know what I'm saying, before he got here. You know what I mean?
We would end up with Cousins if we didn't get Jimmy.
I mean, you know, and who knows how that would have worked out? You know what I mean?
I'm not saying either way.
Who knows?
I'm not. That's just a what if right there.
You know, I feel that, but you know what? Javi has his take, and you know, it was hard for me to disagree with that too. You know what I mean? It just woulda, coulda, shoulda. You know what I mean? Who knows how things would have worked out? But
the hope is Lance is the guy. That's it. That's all.
Let's just hope. You know, because we gave up a king's ransom for the guy, and let's just, let's just, it's nice what could have been, but he left us basically.
It's promising, though. It's promising.
He left us in better shape than what we were before we had. Exactly. So, and he's gonna be looked at fondly to a point in my eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Bingo. So, who knows?
That's it. No irrationality here.
Well, we're trying to get back on a regular schedule ourselves. We're supposed to go on Tuesdays, right? That's our thing usually.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Well, after the Super Bowl, we'll probably,
Yeah, we're gonna transition a little more to Warriors a little bit.
Boxing, all that.
Yeah.
All that good
we
stuff.
cover everything here. That's we try to keep it 100, and we don't fucking act. This is who we are. These are pretty much our conversations, group chat, in person when we're watching the game. We just kind of deliver from our fucking hearts, Some people don't like my takes. I don't really give a fuck. I'm not getting paid a dime. I'll keep it real. I'm not getting paid a fucking dime. You don't like my take? It ain't fucking. I ain't losing sleep over the shit.
Tune into somebody else's show. That's it.
Yeah, I got no problem.
Exactly. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's fun, getting our thoughts out. We're no pros. We're couch GMs, if that, But we have fun. We break shit down in our eyes.
I play batting, you know what I'm saying? I play batting here and there, you know what I'm saying? I know a little football.
But no, it was dope to have Avi on because he brings a little something we don't really have here. He's a little more professional, so that's good.
I am very measured now. Like I used to be super emotional about the shit, and I'm like, just measure it.
Spend enough time in it, bro. Yeah, it was deadening you to a lot of shit. That's true.
You know what I'm saying? So
true.
Trust me, I was cursing at the TV during the title game, but
yeah, we were.
I calmed myself down. I was like, all right, hold on, relax. It is what it is.
Man, I could have won 6,800 if Niners would have went to the Super Bowl.
Oh, I would have been Superman.
I mean, if the Niners won the Super Bowl, but I was gonna hedge, of course. So yeah, Jimmy cost me a few G's, so that's a little bit of a hate towards that, for sure.
A little bias.
Yeah, I definitely punched the couch. Fuck, but yeah, that's we'll get to that. We have all off season to talk about these kind of stories. Well, like Leo said, we're gonna get to some hoops, some boxing. We always do movies. I wanted to get to March Madness. I wanted to get to the fucking what's it called? Not the Mandalorian, Boba Fett. We'll talk that. Talk that next week.
Yeah.
Some of that shit was pretty sick. But yeah, all right, Javi. I know you got to get out of here. It's later for you than it is for us.
You're good.
So we can get the fuck out of here. Thanks for coming on, Cello. See you next week.
Hello.
Leo, see you next week. Check out Javi's Fourth and Podcast show when you get a chance, y'all. And check us out. Give us a like, subscribe. We'd appreciate it. And catch y'all next go round.
All right, yo. Late, yo.
Bye, Jimmy.
Bye,
Sorry, Womack.
Later, Jimmy.
Later, Jimmy.